I request protocol to escort Her Excellency and invite her to address the Assembly.
Thank you, Madam President. When the founders of the UN convened 8 years ago, they did so to establish an organization, among others, to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, dignity of human person, and equal rights of men and women, and of nations, large and small, and to lay the groundwork for a durable system that promotes justice and respect for the obligations arising from treaties and international laws. While over the following decades, we have become closer to the brink of war, the United Nations has stood the test of time, from decolonization to promoting the right to self-determination, from conflict prevention and securing peace to the provision of humanitarian assistance. The UN has continued to fulfill its founding mandate under very difficult circumstances. Therefore, the international community must honor the brave men and women who, under the blue flag, have been at the forefront in the securing of world peace. Namibia's journey to independence is one of the UN's most successful stories. It was through this very organization that our forebears tirelessly petitioned for the end of apartheid, colonial rule in Namibia, for freedom and independence of our country. At this point, I want to thank the UN family for having held a special session in remembrance of our founding president, Comrade Sam Safishuna Nujoma, when he passed on. Madam President, my personal journey with the United Nations begins in 1974, where I have had the privilege to serve my country and Africa in various capacities within the halls of this distinguished global organ. Today, I am deeply honored and humbled to stand before you as the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia, with a mandate to deliver services and to ensure justice of all inhabitants of our country. As a woman, I encourage every girl and woman by affirming that your voice matters, your vision is needed, as it will pave you a way to the helm of whatever institution you are serving. Madam President, Namibia's 8th administration is built on the strong foundation and legacy of our predecessors. Under the theme, Unity in Diversity, Natural Resources Beneficiation, and Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Development. That theme aims to shape and transform the Namibian economy through value addition and other economic activities. Hence, we have identified agriculture, sports, youth empowerment, education and training, creative industry, health services, land and housing as critical sectors supported by mining, energy, water.
Hello, welcome to the show. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. This is 90 Minutes Africa, the program we bring to you every Sunday live from New York City. Today, we're going to have as our guest Hawa Ibrahim. Unfortunately, she had a family emergency and she won't be able to join us today. But in her place, we have a worthy replacement. You all know her as Omoye from Omoye's Corner. She's going to join us, and we are going to talk about the hidden and latent power of women and how we can deploy it to rescue Nigeria. So be ready because it's going to go wild. All right, please join me. Let's welcome to the show Omoye from Omoye's Corner. Omoye, welcome to the show. Wow, you look nice. This is
Thank you.
you dressed up for the show. You know, unlike some of these men we bring on this show, they just put on anything and come on the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Dr. Damages. It's good to be here. It's been
Thank
a
you.
while.
I know. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here on a short notice because it's not everybody that can do that. Not everybody. You can count one in a million. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. And let's start with issues that are in the news. All through the week, we've been hearing about what happened last week about change of the service chiefs, the military people. And there have been so many reactions. One of them was from Shehu Sani, former senator from Kaduna State. He said that when they were killing people in Benue State and all over the country, they didn't find that as an emergency. They didn't change the service chiefs. But as soon as there were rumors of something, the military being unhappy or there were something like coup, they knew how to change the service chiefs. So when it comes to defending themselves, they can do things. But when it's about defending regular people, they can't. What do you make of that?
Well, Dr. Damages, first, let me greet everybody in the house. Greetings to everyone, those that are going to be joining now and those that will be joining later. And again, once again, thanks for inviting me. So, isn't that the story of what we've been experiencing with this administration? When it concerns the citizens, they are suddenly mute. But when it threatens their position, their authority, their power, the positions they have, they're very quick to react. It speaks volumes to their priorities as a government. I mean, for instance, we can even see it. We see it translate when people come out to protest one thing or the other. You see them with armored tanks, with all the security personnel on the protest ground. But when it has to do with counter protests, I'm sure you've observed that, Dr. Damages, when they have counter protests, you don't see the same energy applied. It's the unfortunate position that Nigerians have been forced to be put in. That's the truth. That's what we're experiencing. This government is telling you, if anyone was in doubt before, they're coming out boldly and they're telling you, we're not here for you. Get it through your thick skulls. That's what I make of what has happened.
Where another issue you mentioned now, the protest. We saw the protest last week to free Nnamdi Kanu, and I noticed a comment that came out sometime last week. Somebody said that they arrested Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer and his brother. They arrested Showere for what? For protesting where they should not, according to the government. That they banned them from protesting in certain places, but they were counter protesters who were there on the side of the government. They were dropped by some people in a bus. Nobody was arrested. They came to protest too.
Yeah, that's the trend. If you notice, even from when he was sworn in, and people were trying to protest, that we didn't vote for him. He forced himself in. There were counter protests to that. So every protest, what we have been seeing now, and I have noticed, I'm sure a lot of Nigerians have also noticed, anytime the citizens come out to express their grievances, they always mobilize counter protests. Always, all the time. And they usually, they make it, and, they make the media, they put it in the media in your faces to let you know, oh, but you see the real protests on ground, they don't give them that same media coverage.
We'll get to a lot of issues going on in Nigeria, but before we go deep into Nigeria, I want to bring you back to Africa, because 90 Minutes Africa is an Africa-wide program. We're concerned about things going on across Africa. So in Sudan, I don't know. I know you. I don't know if you follow what's going on there. The war there is still going on, and people are still dying, with millions of people displaced. And this week, or last week now, they were the rebel group, the special military group who are fighting the army. They were able to seize some of the headquarters and operational bases of the military, and this is troubling to a lot of people who are observing what's going on in Sudan. And I want you to, if you can, if you follow these things in the African wider context, why is it that when issues are happening in Africa, like Sudan, Congo, of course, the Sahel area where you still have Islamic militants, there is no much, you talked about media coverage. There's no much of international media coverage. But when it's somewhere like Gaza, Ukraine, have you thought about that? What should Africans do? I played at the beginning of this show the president of Namibia speaking at the UN. If you listen to African presidents, when they go there at the UN to speak, they basically go there and they also talk about things happening in Gaza, in Ukraine. They essentially leave the African matter alone.
So for that, I have to hold us accountable. We should be the ones repping our people all over the world. That's just unfortunate. I don't want to say it's unfortunate, because once we all recognize the inconsistency with the news, with the way the international news portrays Africa. We know the history. We can't go down that. That's a topic for another day. But we're all aware of this. The question that I have for every one of us is, what are we doing to put more volume to what's going on in places like Sudan, for instance? Sudan has been going on, the fight in Sudan has been going on for God knows how long. How many of us talk about it? How many of us get ourselves in spaces where these conversations are had, or try to understand, what the people on ground are talking about, and actually amplifying their voices, right? So we have to, as Africans, it is pertinent for us to take up those responsibilities and ensure that we have to create room for our space, for ourselves in the world, because nobody is going to come speak for us, speak concerning our problems. We have to take it upon ourselves. Unfortunately, if it means that a critical number of us can come together and form a media, house that can, shine the torchlight on all of these things so that we can compete with the international news medias, why are we not doing it? That's my challenge to us as a people. We need to put our money where our mouth is. Some of us have the capacity, right, to actually make sure to put to put the investment together to make this happen. Why are we not doing it? So this is what we need to have conversations about, so that we can amplify the voices of those of us that are suffering, including us in Nigeria. So that's what I would say about that. They'll do what they want to do because it's all about their interests. We know that already. So let's not pretend about that. We know that they have interests. They will only amplify voices of people when they have interest in those areas. If they don't have any interest in wherever you come from, or the country, they're not going to amplify your voices. Let's just call it what it is. That's my take on that.
Okay, now I'm talking about amplifying voices. All through last week, we've been talking about whether Nigeria is going through a genocide, Christian genocide. There have been very different views from different people. What do you make of that topic?
Is there the simple answer is there a Christian genocide going on? Absolutely. We've been hearing this for the past decade. Let's not pretend. If we're going to be honest, let's say it as it is. Have there been Muslims that have been attacked and, their lives destroyed and all of that? Yes. Are there people all over the country now that are being affected? Yes. So to deny that there's a Christian genocide is lying to ourselves. If we had taken care of those issues, were taken care of at the beginning when it was springing up, people will not be trying to look for ways to talk themselves out of whether there's a Christian genocide or there's no Christian genocide. If really life mattered to us as a people, we consider the humanity of the lives that were lost, we will not be here right now talking about, this genocide is happening or that genocide is happening. Because people have been abandoned to their pains for so long. That is why we are having a situation now where Christians have been talking for God knows, the Christians in the Middle Belt, the North Central, as they call it, right? They've been amplifying and crying about their pains for God knows how long. They've been talking about it, but their voices have been silenced. Now, for the first time, it's gaining traction. And then we cannot deny that. Is that Christian genocide? Yes. Are there Muslims that have also been, genocided? Killed, unalived? Yes. Are they now unaliving whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim? If you're moderate Muslim, you will be taken out. It's really the moderate Muslims that they go after. It's not even the real. Maybe some of the real ones that get attacked. They just got caught up in it. But yeah, the simple answer to that question is yes. There is a Christian genocide that cannot be denied.
So yesterday, I think there was a meeting of traditional rulers in northern Nigeria, headed by the Sultan of Sokoto. And during the meeting, they talked about these issues. And he said this, which was surprising to me. He said that he denied, of course, that there is no genocide in Nigeria. This is a quote from him. There is no way someone, whether a Muslim or a Christian, can be killed without the knowledge of the traditional rulers of the community where such a person belongs. He said most of the information posted on social media is not true. And he appealed to the government to quickly, proactively regulate social media. And we've been hearing that a lot from Sultan. He's been very angry about the social media. And there are other people who are also angry about people like you who go on social media and say what they think. They're not happy that people are doing that. So what do you make of this? The fact that once there were this involvement of other people across the world, and once they raising the term genocide, it appears that people are now concerned about the image of Nigeria. But when bodies are being buried, hundreds of them in Benue, in Plateau, in other places, it wouldn't require them to be worried about the image of Nigeria.
Isn't it funny, Dr. Damages? Respectfully to the Sultan, I respect his position, and but truth has to be told. When this whole thing started, where was his voice? That's my question. Before it got to him now having the need to come out, right, and try to debunk and say, oh, social media has to be regulated because people are now coming out with truths, videos, and pictures. Where was he as a father, as a royal father? And I have on my own platform criticized a lot of our royal fathers, like they're not doing anything about the mayhem in the land. So my question to the Sultan respectfully is, where was he when this mayhem started? Where was his voice? Why did we not hear from the way he's been very vocal? Why didn't we hear from him then when this whole issue started? Why didn't he come out to condemn those amongst them that are doing this? Why does he have the need now to amplify and to say that, to try and debunk and try and cover up what is going on? Why does he feel that need? Is it because an outsider in your home, as kids in a home, you're being treated badly, poorly. Now, the government decides to step in and take those kids out. Then you want to now prove that you're a good parent. It doesn't make any sense. It's too late. It's too late to cry when the head is gone. When this whole thing could have been nipped in the bud if the likes of the Sultan had come out to condemn those things and call them out and name it. There have been, information about him saying that the Boko Haram is a member of their, freedom fighter, or whoever touches Boko Haram. I don't want to quote him out of context. Whoever touches Boko Haram touches them, or something like that. He cannot make a U-turn on that because it's out there on social media. So as a father, since that's what I'm assuming that's what the Sultan is, where was he when his house was on fire and they were unaliving his children? Where was he? Why now? The people that have been harmed the most now have the voices, and they're amplifying it, and they're getting the recognition and the attention that they need. Who are we to stand in their way when we couldn't do anything, when the Sultan himself could not do anything? I think it's just gaslighting. I think they're trying to downplay the pains and the sufferings of millions of people. Dr. Damage is 64 communities in Plateau State wiped out. Communities, not men, not women, not children. You and I know what makes up a community. In some communities can be running to the millions because of the way people have kids, right? So tell me, 64, and they take over these communities and rename them. God forbid, I will not join in this evil. If there's evil, you call it out. That's what we need. That's what ought to have been happening from when this whole thing started. Now his voice is, we're not hearing him. We are not. If he felt like, oh yeah, there's no Christian, it's not only Christians that are being unalive, why did he not speak about those, his own people that were unalive? Why? That's the question I have for him.
Talking about Boko Haram, the governor of Borno State, Governor Zulum, issued a warning today. I think it's in the papers today. He was saying that they are now using drones in their fights with the military. They are using drones, and he's been crying that something should be done, that this is an emergency. But I don't think the people in Abuja they are listening. But what do you make of this, that they have gotten to the point where they are now using drones to attack our military and civilians?
Well, we already talked. We already knew that was going to happen because of the amount of money that's coming to these people. Do you know how much they get per kidnapper in Nigeria? And then no talk of I believe it wasn't too long ago, the president of Niger State came out and said that they were going to release the names of politicians in Nigeria that are sponsoring Boko Haram. How many years ago? I think the United Emirates released, I don't know if it's the United Emirates or Dubai, released the names of sponsors of Boko Haram in Nigeria. They have the names. They have people backing them up. So it's a given that they're going to get to that point. We hear stories of them going to the military cantonment and taking over the equipment that they have. It was only a matter of time they were going to start using drones. It was only a matter of time. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. In as much as it's something that is troubling and very worrying, you don't even see, what makes it even worse is that the government of Nigeria is not even, this sham government is not doing anything. And they don't have any interest in doing anything because all they're caring about is the 2027 election, how they would make sure they get there. How they're going to get there with this madness going on, it's left for us to see.
I don't know if you know one governor. There are so many governors, 36 of them in Nigeria. I don't know all of them, but some of them are so notorious that you are forced to know them. There is this one called Governor Bago. from Niger State. He was the one that said at one point that if you had dreadlocks, they should cut your hair. This week or last week now, he arrested someone for posting on Facebook. A postgraduate student posted on Facebook that he should stop lying to the people of the state, and called him Governor Amunike. I don't know if you know the guy that does the skits on social media. So because of that, he went and arrested him. He has a long history of arresting people who making comments, ordinary Nigerians. So and there are people who think that's the right way to go in that country. What do you think?
You know, when he arrested when he talked about arresting, people, kids with dreadlocks, it was just exhausting listening to it, right? The thing is, I wish the people were more conscious enough. Those are the kind of things that you demand people's resignations for, because clearly this man is clueless. You don't want any criticisms. You want to shut people down. You want to lock them up because you don't want them to have a voice. Is that not baby Emilokon in Niger State? That's a baby Emilokon right there. That's a baby T-Pain. He's following in the footsteps of the man at the top. They say when the head is rotten, the whole body is gone. Isn't that what they say? So he's taking a leaf from the man up there. But my hope is that people are not silent about it, and people talk and call the governor out, because it is outrageous. The young man has a right to speak about what his concerns or what the state of his community or his state is. He doesn't have a right to be arresting people willy-nilly.
He also closed down a radio station because they criticized him. He went there and closed it down. And he had to be told by the Minister of Information that that's not how to go. If someone is, if a radio station is saying something you don't like, you can go and take them to a civil court and say that whatever they do, he was talking about defamation of character, and but that's not the way to go and close down a radio station because someone criticized you on that station. And this is a young guy.
Exactly. So, when they say young guy, right, I really hesitate about that, because these people, even though they're young, you have to understand the people they came under. They're not regular people. Like they were somebody's boy, that they were sending on errands. And because the person was loyal enough to say, okay, we will make you the governor. That's what it is. Let's say it as it is. I'm hoping that the people do not, amplify the voices of these people that have been locked up, or anyone that has suffered any type of, hurt from this Niger State governor. I hope that the people can rally themselves and really speak up against this man, because we cannot allow that kind of, dictatorship in Nigeria, even at the state level. It doesn't make any sense. Do your work, governor. Why are you busy paying attention to people on social media? If you're busy enough, will you have time to be coming on social media to see somebody who's making a comment that you don't like? I don't get it. These people are not spending the time governing. They are not spending the time checking out their communities to make sure they have all they need. All they are busy doing is clamping down of dissenting voices. It doesn't make sense. That's my hope. I'm hoping that Nigerians will amplify their voices and insist that this will not be accepted. That's what I hope for. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, the governor was born in 1974, so he's I think 51, and so I wanted to check to make sure that it was not the generation that grew up at the thick of the military era, and somehow because a lot of people don't know the impact of the military on lives in Nigeria. People think it's normal to wake up and say, with immediate effect, you have to do this. With, that's how democracy should work, because you are governor or you are local government chairman. Anyway, but let me go to something else in the news, which was it appears for the first time, it may happen, I don't know, but the headlines were saying that the lawmakers at the National Assembly, they've zeroed in on creating a new state in the Southeast. They call it a push for equity and fairness. I mean, there were other requests for state creations around the country. If that should ever happen, because there are still many, many steps to go, if that happens, it will be the first time that civilians were able to create state in Nigeria. What do you think about it?
Well, I think it's a good thing, because I heard about the fact that the Southeast only has 5 states, whereas other regions have 6 states. So if they're able to get one state in, I don't see anything wrong with that. But the real question is, are they going to get the resources needed to be able to develop, each of the states? It's not about having multiple states, to be quite honest with you, because the states that we have, Dr. Damages, please, how many of them can you drive on successfully? How many of the roads? Do you understand? Traveling from one place to the other is almost, I saw a video of someone who was complaining bitterly. He wants to, within Europe, is able to travel 30 pounds, whatever, 30 euros, whatever. Within Nigeria, you're traveling from one state to the other, you're paying 500,000 naira, which is like $70 or even less. It doesn't make any sense. So the problem, I don't think, is about, really, if you ask me, this is my own personal opinion, it's not about the number of states, it's about how well those states are thriving. Because what happens in most cases is that maybe you have, you have 6 states within a region, right? Only one state is thriving. The rest is like, there's nothing to write home about. Even with local government, even with state governors, with local leaders, councillors, and the rest of them, no impact, 0 impact. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's a win for the Southeast. I'm not going to ignore that. I have heard that, a lot of our Southeastern brothers and sisters have said, we ought to have 6 states. Kudos to them. But let's take it a step forward by ensuring that everything that those states need, they have to be able to thrive on their own,
All right, we'll continue. But before then, let me play a video for you. This is an old video. Somehow it surfaced this last week. It's about the past when Nigeria, this was 1958. I'll play that and we'll come back and talk about it.
Madam Aminu, we met in London recently.
Yes, we met. I was there during the Nigerian Constitutional Conference.
When your country becomes independent in 2 years' time, will it eventually join in the United States of West Africa?
Of course it will.
And do you envisage also a United States of Central Africa, including the Cameroons and Belgian Congo, let's say?
Well, yes, I should think so, in close association with the United States of West Africa.
In this United States of West Africa, don't you think there might be a certain struggle for leadership between such personalities as Dr. Nkrumah, Dr. Zik, even yourself, perhaps?
No, I don't think so. I think, the African leaders would like to give their show, and for that, they would not struggle for leadership, I think.
Malam Aminu, where did the idea for a United States of West Africa first come from?
Well, I think it came from people like Du Bois, from America, and then in close association with some Nigerians in London, so that Nigeria itself is not out of the contributors.
So the idea then is not wholly and totally Dr. Nkrumah's?
No, no, I don't think so.
Mr. Omoye, you've been elected chairman of this conference. I wonder, would you tell me what it is about?
This is the first conference of all African political and trade union leaders ever to be held in Africa. The purpose of it is to try and get all these leaders to come together and discuss African problems with a view, of course, to try and find out means and ways of collectively trying to fight against things like imperialism and colonialism, racialism, tribalism, and of course questions of boundaries between states and that sort of thing.
So you believe in Africa for Africans?
Well, I believe in Africa for the Africans in the context that there is a place called Africa, and that the people who live in that place must want to call themselves Africans. And by that, of course, I'm referring particularly to the non-Africans, the immigrant communities who have decided to make parts of Africa their homes, in South Africa, in French Africa, and in East and Central Africa. We believe that if they want to live in Africa, they must identify themselves with the Africans. They cannot live in Africa and still claim to be Europeans, Americans, or any other nationalities.
That was 1958, before Nigeria's independence. There were conversations about forming United States of Africa. Africans were having conversations about imperialism and about tribalism, about all the isms. And now we are not even talking. How many years after? We are not even, I think we've essentially given up. If you consider the amount of political engagements going on then and what is going on now, we are shrinking our focus to even the small states that we have are not functioning. How do you see that? You know, I saw that. It made me to think about the efforts of these people.
Yeah. This is important. This is why history is so important. This is the first time I'm seeing this clip. This is the very first time. But we're going to look more into it. But that's a great, that means that this fight has been going on for very long. And I quite agree with him. If you choose, you want to live within the African continent, you have to identify yourself as an African. You know, it's quite unfortunate. I think the problem that we have in Africa is the imperial influence that Africa has had. I mean, look at the devastation in a lot of our African countries. Sudan, for instance. I grew up here in Sudan, was at war. Do you understand? And then you have different types of conflicts in different regions. The Congo, for instance, has not rested. So I think that this sponsored fight within Africa is the reason why this conversation has suddenly, perhaps videos like this is the reason why they intensify their attacks on the Africans. I'm just going to be quite honest. Perhaps that's the reason why. Because when you're busy fighting for survival and trying to stand on your 2 feet, where do you have the time to be talking about a greater Africa? That's the way you never chop. Where you are thinking about how you're going to get the food for your children, school fees. You want to pay your rent. You don't know whether you're going to see next meal to eat. Where do you have the energy? When you're so inundated, suffering every day you wake up, fight, you are running. Look at the IDP camps in Nigeria, for instance. Look at the IDP camps. Where in those IDP camps, who want to think about how they want to maybe get food or even become something? People are so busy trying to survive. That's what they've reduced Africans to. You're so busy trying to survive, you can't even think beyond that. So first of all, it's a natural instinct. You want to protect and save yourself first before you think about somebody else. It's a human thing, you know. So I think the bigger question there is, you know, how as Africans, how do we take this, remove this chokehold, remove this hand that is choking us so that we can even see and breathe? We have to first of all breathe to be able to even start talking about other issues. As it stands, we are not able to breathe. Everywhere you turn, there's fight. I saw a video of a young lady from South Africa. This girl was so upset, talking about the corruption in their system, calling out their government and saying, this government is just taking the people's money without providing anything. That the ANC that they know is not the ANC. This ANC is sponsored. It's not the original people that started ANC. The idea of ANC is not what it is anymore. That the people that are there are people that have been planted to be there to serve the interests of outsiders. Is this not the same in almost all the African countries? So where they want to talk about United States of Africa, how they want to start that conversation, until we ourselves look within and find solutions for ourselves within. Yeah, I'm not saying cut off completely, outside help, genuine outside help. Well, how did Malaysia do it? How did Singapore do it? How did Singapore do it? How did they arrive at the point where they were able to get themselves from where they were to where they are now? How? We should be asking these are the questions we should be asking so that we'll know how to solve our problem. How did China do it? Let's find out, please. How? So that we can maybe there will be a reset in mind. So we can start to look inwards, because a lot of the times as Africans, we're always running very quick outside help, outside, and we will sell it. I beg, we cannot to talk past as you ask me. I don't ask.
let me play this video and then
Free Nnamdi Kanu now! 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 Don't tear gas us! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Don't tear gas us! Don't tear gas us! Do not tear gas us! You are right to protest! Don't tear gas us! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
Tear gas cannot stop us!
Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
Tear gas cannot stop us!
Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
Tear gas cannot stop us!
Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Still. Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Toba. Let's go to beggar. Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now! Free Nnamdi Kanu now!
there was an old video of people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King speaking, and each time I see that, I always think about people around them. Did they know that what they were doing were important at that point, that it will be remembered, that these footages, these videos, these pictures will be remembered and studied by generations unborn? And when I think about Nigeria and what's going on in Nigeria, I always think about the people who are playing roles now, whatever role people are playing. The we who are watching, and most of us are watching. Yeah, I saw some people talking and writing on the comment section. You guys like to talk. There are people who are doing things, and there are people who are talking. But do we feel that this is important? What they are doing is important, irrespective of what the outcome is? How do you feel about demonstrations as a way of going beyond talking?
How do I feel about this demonstrations as a way of talking?
Going beyond talking, because when people talk, yeah, they say people are only talking, do something. And when people try to do something, people also find something to say about those who are trying to do something.
I think we cannot do without not protesting. That's one thing for sure. That's something that we cannot do without. We can't do without not coming out to protest. But I think the way we've been protesting, it seemed like, for lack of better words, right? It seemed redundant. I think we have to look for strategic ways to actually protest so that we can get the desired results. Because this form of protest that we as Nigerians have been doing, it seemed like a lot of people have bastardized it. So we need to go back and really rethink protests and how to be effective with it. It's not just coming out. Coming out is the first step, but how we do it and how we approach it is very important. Because the same thing every single time. When people come out to protest, what happens? They pull out all their best weapons that they should be using for the terrorists. That's when they remember they have armored tanks. That's when they remember they have, security agents that are very effective with being very aggressive with the citizens. This is when they start to release their bullets and start to use tear gas on the people. Every single time, without fail. So in as much as I cannot say that we should scrap protest altogether. I can't even say that, because protest is a way of letting the government know that you're aggrieved and, putting the word out there so that people see you. But at the same time, we have to do it in such a way that we get the desired result. There has to be some type of strategy applied to it that we can get the results that is required. Apart from the fact that there are people who they buy when they do this protest. Dr. Damages, we come out to protest, they are doing counter protests. Even with this protest, there were people that came to do counter protests. There was a fellow there that was arrested, and the people don't even forget, say they in prison. If it wasn't for Showore, we don't forget the guy. I don't forget his name now. This guy was there counter protesting and telling and asking Showore asking him why is he trying to get Nnamdi Kanu released. You understand what I'm saying? So you see, it's been bastardized. So you come out to protest, they organize counter protests, and they're always hungry people that they can give 5K, 10K, 20K to come and do this counter protest. They don't even need much. Some of them come there, they don't even know why they are there protesting. They don't even understand what the protest is about. But just because they need to eat 1K, 2K, at least they will eat for the day, they will collect it and go and protest. So I think we need to rethink the whole protest thing, in as much as I'm not going to completely say we should shut it down, because in a way, whether we like it or not, it still gets the word out there. But we need to really re-strategize and rethink protests such that it is effective. How many times has the NUC come out to say, is it NUC or NLC, come out to say, oh, we want to protest? They come out, before you know what's happening, the government has called them. They've gone to give them, to go and oil their, put something, send email to them. Once they send the email, they go, oh, exactly, prayers. Then they will say, oh, we have moved it. It's not going to be this week again. You say, I've never heard where you're protesting and the government is telling you, protest here, don't protest there. Okay, move from here now. Move, go there. It's almost like they're trying to manage it. They've perfected the art of trying to manage the protest and, leading the narrative on the protest. That's what I think about it, to be honest. I know I won't say shut it, let's stop protesting. I would say we have to rethink how we protest.
I looked at the people there. I saw only one lady amongst them. Maybe there are more, but I only saw one. What do you make of, you were talking about changing strategy. I know that in South Africa during Soweto 76, I believe, at a point they had to send out school children to go and protest because they were shooting at adults. Have we thought about women playing more role in actions and activities like that than men? Because I don't think that they will open fire on women the same way they open fire on men. What do you think?
Aye. Dr. Damages, they will open fire, nothing will happen in Nigeria with this government. Do you remember the protest that happened? I think, was it in Kaduna or one of the states in the North Central, where the women literally went all naked? I don't know if you remember that protest.
There are many across the
There are
country.
many.
Yeah, I've seen women do
His
that.
government was not moved. Matter of fact, guess what? They were flogging them. They were brutalizing those women. Do you know that? So Nigeria is a country where, first of all, women don't even have voice. Women do not have voice. The women's voices are so suppressed to the point where some of the women themselves have become, they have become their own oppressors. That's how bad the Nigerian situation is. However, those who have the courage and the confidence to step out of their comfort zones and say, okay, we're going to make this happen. How many women do you see in Nigeria coming out to support them? I can point to the recent case of Natasha, right? Natasha came out. One woman was able to shake the Senate, shake the entire government, right? Just imagine if there were more women that came out in support of her. Imagine, that would have been a game changer. In fact, that opportunity was so golden when Natasha did what she did, right? It was a golden opportunity for women with the same, that know what's going on and want their things to change in society, to come out and demand for more. But how many of the women did you see, apart from those the ones that we normally see? How many of them? So there has to be, first of all, a reorientation in the minds of the Nigerian woman, average Nigerian woman, that these rights, they're affecting you. You don't even have voice in the National Assembly. We have only 4 women. Obi, how many women in the National Assembly? Only one person is very vocal. It's almost like we don't even know where the other women are. It feels like it's only women we have in the National Assembly. I don't know about the House of Reps, for instance, right? So there has to be some type of a mind reconstruction for women to understand their power, first of all, to let them know. Because we've had women who have come out before and have spoken and the government listened in Nigeria. We've had women who have come out on record. If we go back in history, the likes of the Aba riots, were they not women? They were made up of mostly women, right? So the same thing, those same women still exist within us. But the question is, the environment, does it encourage that kind of thing? I don't see, if women came out today, they will buy as many women. But the only difference is maybe there'll be outrage. But do we really want that to happen? Because the women are the foundation. They are the ones that will bring your children. They are the ones that will birth the children and give life. Do we want women to be massacred? Do you understand what I'm saying? So for Nigerian situation, and I'm a bit, I know I have said it myself, like women will be the ones to change Nigeria and they have to do it, right? But at the same time, I understand the struggle of a Nigerian woman in Nigeria. It's not as easy as we make it out to be. Even with the women are making efforts. They have made efforts. They have come out. There's a lady, I can't remember her name now. She has afro. She came out one time during one of the protests and she went and sat in front of, I think, the entrance or the road to Aso Rock. She and one other lady, they sat there and they were doing their protests. You understand? So there are women, we have women who have the boldness to do most of these things, and they have been doing it. The difference is sometimes we don't see it. It's not televised. We've had multiple times, we've had women come out to protest what this government is doing. You don't hear about it because the media does not give it the attention that it needs, and some of us maybe don't get our hands on the videos, right? That being said, if women were to come out in Nigeria and really get serious, things will change. If women decide to take it on and the government, things will change. I can guarantee you, because there's so many women in Nigeria that are just waiting, right, in the shadows to see the necessary steps being taken, and you see them come out and the government will have no choice. There are women like that could do that.
Obviously, there are. And one of the, I didn't mention this, one of the things they are considering approving in the constitutional amendment was to reserve seats for women. And I was wondering if women can come together, they can actually dedicate resources to a state and make sure that a woman becomes a governor of a state. It's possible.
Absolutely. I personally am looking out for that. I know that one of, I think, Natasha's interviews, I remember she was saying that she wants to, part of what she wants to do is to sponsor as many women representatives and all of that. I really am looking forward to that. With the Senate bill that's passing, here's the thing, Dr. Damages. I'm a little bit, I'm not fully bought I'm not fully, is it sold or I don't know. You know the English, you understand what I'm saying. Okay. So the thing is, with the Nigerian situation where they say, oh, they want to pass a bill, guess what's going to happen? That bill, when it passes, they will bring their girlfriends that do not have the heart for the people. They will bring their side chicks that don't know jack about what service is. They will bring their wives because they want to always remain in power. They will now recruit their children that went to school and their children's friends to come and continue to rule over the people. That's what that bill is going to do. Unless, as people, we keep our eyes or we monitor that bill, and when it does pass, we pay attention to the candidates or to the women that they are suggesting that they want in the National Assembly. That is the other thing, because, you know, they say in the National Assembly, they have cabal. Behind National Assembly, there's also cabal. I hope you people know. So that's what I have to say. I would have said it's a good thing, but I don't trust this government. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to talk. It would be good to see a lot more women who know what they are doing. There's a difference between having women and having the women who care and know what they are going to do. Because we have women, 4 women. Imagine what impact one woman was able to do. Imagine if those other women joined to Royal Rumble, the entire National Assembly. You know that National Assembly now would have been over. We would have been thinking of how we want to re-elect National Assembly members. But only one woman was able to do it. The remaining women, they were ineffective. I'm sorry to say respectfully, they were. Right? So for me, I'm a bit skeptical about the bill. I'm not going to say it's not a good thing, because it's a good thing for it to pass so we can have more women. But what type of women are going to be there representing us?
All right. At 2027, there are different combinations and permutations being made now. And one that is out there is that it's possible that the election can come and P2B won't have a political party to run under. Have you thought about that? Do you think it's possible? Are you concerned that that may be a possibility?
With Nigeria and the situation, right, and the politics and the 2027 election coming up, am I concerned P2B will not have a party to run? I want to say yes and no. I think that's the best way I can answer that question. Yes, I'm concerned on one hand. On the other hand, I'm not so concerned, because for there's a word I want to use. I'm trying to rephrase it in my head before I use it. Is Nigeria needs a hard reset. That's what Nigeria needs. If P2B, whatever happens, right? I'm hoping that reset happens, because we cannot continue the way we're going on. It's not going to 2027. We cannot. I don't see a Nigeria beyond 2027. So regardless of what happens, and I don't want to project whether P2B is going to run or is not going to run. I'm not even going to speak on that. P2B is doing what he needs to do. And I like the fact that a lot of people don't know what's going on with him and what his mind, where his mind is. I like it. Everybody should be guessing. At the end of the day, what I feel that Nigeria right now, today, as it stands, is a hard reset for that country, because that country is rotten to the core. Dr. Damages, I don't know if you have noticed that country. Did you hear about the Nigerian Football Federation, the corruption that is going on there? That's a topic for another day. It is rotten to the core. So we need a hard reset that will, first of all, that will bring about cleaners. people that will come and take out the garbage. That's the type of cleaning that we need. Let me not say more than that.
You were talking about Nigerian NFL, the stadium that they built or supposedly built, but you forgot that Okowa. I saw a story. You know, Okowa's 1.3 trillion trial. The former governor of Delta State. I don't know. Are you from Delta? Oh, you're from Edo, I think. I don't know. Delta.
I'm a global citizen.
Yeah, but Okowa, EFCC is telling us they've not forgotten his trial, that even though he joined APC, that they still remember. So yeah, talking about being rotten, it's unbelievable that people like that are just left alone. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we will invite our viewers. Some of them are in the studio. If you want to join us, please come into the studio and turn on your camera. Thank you so much, Omoye. So let's take a break and then we'll be right back. This is, you're watching 90 Minutes Africa. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for having your Sunday evening or afternoon with us. We have our special guest, Omoye's Corner, joining us to discuss how we can deploy women to rescue Nigeria. I believe that men, they failed. In Namibia, at the beginning of this show, I played the video of the president of Namibia. In Namibia, a woman is the president, the vice president, the speaker of the house. Is that possible in Nigeria? In what century?
It is possible in Nigeria if we can get our acts together. It is. I do actually see it happening. But the Nigerian women have to get their acts together. We have to keep having these types of conversations. Dr. Damages, don't forget, we've had very, very powerful women in Nigeria. We don't talk enough about them. In the Senate and in I think the House of Reps as well, we've had women who have shown capacity.
No, it's not about capacity. It's about whether either the women will go out there strongly and push, or whether the men will give way. They are not even giving way for young people. The old men are not giving way for young people.
Yes, that's why the reset is important. It's only a reset that can make that happen, unfortunately. A reset or a leader who's strong. In the kind of leader that Nigeria needs right now is someone who is strong, and no go look nobody face. That's what Nigeria needs. Otherwise, this trajectory that we're going on, Nigeria may just vanish out of the face of the earth. Walai. So we need someone, it's either someone who's very strong, and I personally believe Peter Obi has that capacity. He might look like, soft voice, everything. That guy is iron inside. Or a hard reset. I'm not even paying attention to politics right now. I'm just talking about what's going to work for Nigeria. We need, for lack of better words, I've heard people say benevolent dictatorship. I don't know whether I like that word dictatorship, but okay, for lack of better words, someone who's strong that will not look at anybody's face to ensure that the right things are done and clean house, take the garbage out. That's what we need.
I don't know if you're following what's happening in Anambra State. There were videos that came out last week about Governor Charles Soludo. You know, there's an election coming up in Anambra State. He went and opened the hospital and said that they performed surgery there, that people got free health care. People went back and they saw there was nothing going on, that they were the hospital was closed. So today or yesterday, his people went back and reopened the hospital and made a video. Let's watch a little bit of that.
The security about that. Yeah, and when they did the video yesterday, were people inside the hospital? Yes, everybody is inside here. Okay. Look at what they did, please, for clarity's sake. Those APC people, that what they did yesterday, they came and said, it's a whole lot of people, never see the video. Yes. All you have me, better see there, never. But as we are looking at it, let's not cut the video. You can see there is a lot of people inside the hospital coming. Now you see a lot of people inside the hospital here. I see a lot of people as we speak, people with this one, even the CMDC, the patients here, you can see a lot of people working in the hospital. But the issue is this: those APC and I am to stop doing politics with health. With health. This is a lot of people here. So when he was outside and because the hospital is a big hospital, when you look at it, you can see even some people in this ward, in this part of, you can see people in the ward that are admitted in the ward here. You can see this is theater. We just mind the waiting people that are waiting for surgery. You can see that they are preparing for surgery, okay? Operation got you ready. Okay, so also the operation got you ready. So if you enter inside now, who enter? You can see, just don't enter, just get this. You can see that at the beginning operation, the patient is under local anesthesia, they are not feeling pain. Okay, let's go. You can come. Actually, also, and some people also doing ultrasound here. Doing ultrasound, and there is a delivery. A woman just finished having a delivery here in the hospital. If you come this part of the hospital, you can see very profound, and for people that are here too. You can see a woman that this is the, I think, a woman that's finished giving delivery. Can I take email? Okay. Date starter, 25 October. Thank you. Wow.
Ka kene ndị emel surgery nya ekpochiri ekpochi.
Nurse, emergency. Yeah, oh no, eba ka soludo bia nya. Mo when dem surgery eba nya, ma 12. Okay, ma 4.
Keze ba no na.
Ba me ka surgery ana, ma doctor soludo ana. All the emergency surgery. Esolu na wa ko. Family o.
Kwa barrister bia ko nete ndị emel surgery nya. All right, let's stop it here. So, what do you make of this this drama?
Oh my goodness. Is that a hospital? Hey, God.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal hospital, you know.
That's a big deal hospital that Soludo built for Anambra people?
Yeah. Don't mess with us. Don't mess with us.
Sorry, oh. Sorry, oh. Dr. Damages, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Wow, what an embarrassment.
And
why are they trying so hard? That was not necessary, to be honest with you. Look at the hospital. Look at, they built that place. Look at how that place looks.
Yep. All right. Omoye, thank you so much. Let's get our people to come up and get involved in the conversation. I'm tired with our people, but I think social media is very important, because without social media, nobody will have forced them to come back and try to prove things. I wish we have a lot of people holding people accountable, whatever your position is, when you are saying things, what you are saying, and all those, because that's the only way we can get there. All right, thank you guys for joining us. I see some other people in the backstage. Please turn on your camera if you want to be part of the conversation. We have Omoye's Corner here as our guest today. So, Mr. James, you came first. So let me start with you. Any question, comments for Omoye?
Actually, we've discussed quite a lot, and it all revolves around just one topic, and the theme is the rot Nigeria has been subjected to. I remember on Voice of the People radio, I told one Barrister Darlington that Nigeria has collapsed. The country has collapsed. The man tongue lashed me thoroughly. But, however, those are minor things. And I don't even know where to start. The conclusion is there can never be a change without a revolution. There's nowhere in the world there has been a meaningful change without a revolution, although not all revolutions bring about the desired changes. So for Nigeria to come back to what it used to be, there must be a revolution. Or else and in fact, I will say something. We should start thinking of post-Nigeria republics. The present dispensation cannot take us anywhere, no matter how hard we try. The country is destroyed beyond repair. So if we want in Nigeria, we have to build a new Nigeria from the ashes of the old. For things to be what it used to be when I was a little boy, during Yakubu Gowon's time, during Balewa's time, it's practically impossible. We've just been living in a fool's paradise. So there must be a revolution. And what will bring that revolution, frankly speaking, I cannot say when it will come, but I just pray it will happen in my lifetime. Thank you.
All right, thank you, James. Let's go to KJ. KJ, welcome.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Damages. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for inviting our dear sister. I think I'm one of those who watch your dancing movies. So, and I think you are a good dancer, you know. So, good to see you.
Did I miss something? Omoye, have you been dancing?
I love to dance. I dance occasionally.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. Go
Mhm.
ahead, KJ. KJ, you're muted. We can't hear you. All right, we'll leave KJ. I'll come back to him.
Okay, are you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much. I think I don't have any question for you. We are on the same side, and I agree with most of the points that you have made. Unfortunately, that is the truth of Nigeria. I wanted to add to Dr. Damages. No, my first degree is on theater art. So when we see some of these reenactments, as we call them, we identify right from the beginning. For instance, if you go back to that video you just showed of Omoye, um, when the government team came, they had chairs outside there which people sat. In other words, that was chairs you patients sit to wait for
Mhm.
their time to go in. Now, when we came back with a government official, okay, who came to record to prove that they are lying, where are those chairs outside? Why are the chairs not there? They are no longer there. It's called
Right.
continuity. You see the chairs right now, okay? They are there. That means that these chairs are positioned for people. Okay, there's just one of them, but there's another one here. So maybe again, the government man may be correct, but the question is, if you are acting right, do you need to go to this extent to prove that you are right? No. How many people are in that community? Are they just few of them? These are the only people who seek in that community, or are they just about 1,000 people? So in other words, you just have these few people in the world. Okay. And then how come it's only when the man is approaching that people come out of the locations, and those people sitting there are not even mindful of him? I thought he's a government official, so they should actually get up when they see him to try to respond to him. But all the same, whatever be the case, that's the sad story of Nigeria. Moyele, we welcome you. Thank you. I hope that you go a bit more, especially what's happening. You are a lawyer, so I will again ask you a legal question now. Some people say that it is the doctrine of placing something on nothing is not a part of Nigerian law. Consequently, Nnamdi Kanu quoting it doesn't mean anything. In other words, when they are extraordinary rendition, you're saying placing being quoting that doctrine or that legal part of the law does not restrict government from prosecuting you or stop the court from going forward with your case. It doesn't matter how they bring you into the country. What matters is that you are in court and that you must face the consequence. Is that really the practice of law, or is that Nigerian law is different from the one practiced outside of Nigeria?
You just answered it, KJ. Good morning, first of all. You just answered the question. That's the way Nigerians have chosen. Nigerian legal system has chosen to carry out their own laws. It doesn't happen like that anywhere else in the world. They just twisted everything to suit the narrative that they want. That's exactly what the court system in Nigeria has done. None of everything that's going on with Nnamdi Kanu. It's only in Nigeria that it is happening. Unfortunately, they just twisted everything around to suit the narrative that they want, so that they can lock the man up and just throw the keys away. That's exactly what we're witnessing. So you have answered the question. It's only in Nigeria. Oh. It is only in Nigeria. There's no justice in Nigeria.
Okay, my second question to you, Omoyele, is this. Because you're a lawyer again, I have to try and explore all areas I think that are confusing me. That's all right, confusing me right now. The Nnamdi Kanu in the open court quoted for the judge the fact that the medical association document that was submitted to the court was forged because the court gave order on the 28th. This document was written on the 23rd. So he pointed out to the judge that this document was doctored, and that he feels that because it was doctored, he should not carry it should be null and void. But the judge response to him is that I've already ruled. Is that the way it's done? Because this case is still in the open court, and you present a document that is forged before the judge, and he said, I've already ruled on that. Let's move ahead. Is that how I want to understand, because somehow the things we used to read become confusing, for all of us. So at least for me, I don't know. So I'm looking your explanation as a lawyer.
KJ, I'm going to answer you again. Everything that you are witnessing from the legal system in Nigeria is abnormal. It doesn't happen anywhere. Matter of fact, the judge ought to have caught on that that document was already edited. It was a fake. He did not need the litigant in court to point it out to him. He did not need it. He or she did not need it. That is to tell you that Nigerian system has been balkanized. You don't have you don't have any systems in Nigeria. Nigeria is gone. You don't. So what they're running on now is anyhow, anywhere, however it goes, jungle justice with a semblance of, oh, they just speak English. That's all. What happened, Nnamdi Kanu is not supposed to be the one to point it out. It is his lawyers, first of all, will point it out. Then they will deal with it and say, okay, we can't use this as documents. They will go back and fix and do what they need to do and then present it again. But that did not happen because your Nigerian government does not care about procedure or justice. They don't care. That's your answer right there. We are all watching it play out.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, KJ. Let's go to Femi. Femi, you are next.
Good morning, Sister Omoye. So, my question is regarding the headline topic itself and my thoughts about how I just feel, without meaning to sound misogynist, because you've also alluded to it, and I typically listen to your some of your shows on YouTube, so it hasn't to do with me being a man. Now, my question is about how I feel even women seem to, at least in Nigeria, even Africa generally, seem to work against their own interests. And I say this to say that knowing that it's a male-dominated society, whether one likes it or not, I tend to have this opinion that a lot of times it just seems as if sometimes Nigerian women do not seem to support or have that love for putting their own agendas first. As much as I understand that, in the Nigerian context, most of even the so-called party politics that we play, it seems as though if they do not meet at night, when a lot of women would rather be in their husband's bedroom, that I understand that seems to work against women, but I just felt the need to ask that question to see what your opinion is in terms of how that could change.
Thank you very much, Femi. Good morning to you. You are right. Unfortunately, it is obvious sometimes that Nigerian women, I don't know if women generally, if I can say that, they tend to work against themselves. And sometimes it's a personal issue to them, meaning that they don't realize the potential or the power that they have. They don't really know who they are, and they don't know what their position in terms of the world and what they can achieve together is all about. So until they realize that, unfortunately, we're going to keep saying this, right? um I'm not going to pretend about that. That's true. Women tend to work against themselves. We saw that play out with Natasha. Everybody saw that play out. You would expect that the few women would join together and say, no, we're supporting this woman because we need her. We cannot just, we're only four. We have to fight for ourselves, right? We hardly get our voices heard, but that didn't happen. Then the other thing is the platform from which Nigerian women run their lives through. In Nigeria is a very patriarchal system. And the men in Nigeria do not give the women that opportunity to thrive. Can we be honest? 100%? Yes. The men in Nigeria they don't give the women the opportunity to thrive. what they do sometimes when they get into certain positions is tokenism. They look for a woman, they just put her there. Sometimes maybe it's their girlfriend, maybe it's their daughter, maybe it's somebody who knows somebody, friend's wife. Just put her there so that they'll see, face of woman. And that woman will be there to serve their interest and massage their egos, right? And when that woman get there, because they don't even understand the reason why they're where they are, and they don't understand themselves enough, when they get there, instead of ensuring and creating room, making space for fellow women to come in, so even if they don't know it all, there'll be women who have this knowledge that will be able to do some type of transformation. They don't. They have this what's it called, queen bee attitude. I think what's this emir's name? Emir Sanusi Lamido. There was an interview he gave about a couple of years back where he was talking about this same queen bee thing that I'm talking about, where the women will get to those positions. Instead of opening doors for fellow women to come in, they would, when they climb, they would throw the ladder away. They will start gatekeeping because they don't want other women to come. They want to be like the only women in the circle of all this power or all this influence. It's a problem we have in Nigeria. I have faced it coming up in Nigeria, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, even in the world as a whole, they still have elements of that there. But can it be improved upon? Yes, it can. If the women are given the opportunity to thrive in Nigeria and not suppressed, because women are suppressed in Nigeria, even the ones that are married, if you're a woman in Nigeria, you're suppressed. You know this. I don't even need to. I'm preaching to the choir now. So that's what happens, unfortunately, right? So until we get past that, until people who understand the pain of having to deal with this get there and start to make the necessary changes, unfortunately, we continue to struggle. But there is hope by all of us educating ourselves and the men getting involved too and calling this out, just like you have done, so that we can talk about it, educate ourselves, and get more women involved and ask questions like, why do you feel threatened if another woman is coming in and trying to, do her own thing? Why? Let her fly. Matter of fact, give her wings to fly so she can be better than you, whatever, right? So, yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. I can't even disagree. Yeah.
So, Doctor, thanks, Omoye. Let me just say something real quick, Doctor. This Wafik Jonaba here, it just reminds me of that prop from when I worked at what's supposed to be the largest movie production studio in the East Coast here in the US. When I saw that hospital video that you showed, I mean, it's only despicable, but also just nauseating, just from the point angle of the way it comes across. And it just also reminds me of something I saw from a hospital. I think it was built in Kano or Katsina. After the fanfare of it, and we're used to this now. After the fanfare, the next thing you know, nothing was spoken about it. I find it ridiculous. And just on a final note as well, I want to thank Omori for his presentation yesterday, because when it came to the arrest of Showore, I know I'm diverting. I just wanted to make that because I was listening in, and I just felt that if everything always comes down to ethnicity, just because people forget that some of us actually are non-ethnically biased, and people just like to see things from the point of view of ethnicity, we have a long way to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Femi, and let's bring in the new John Abba.
I'll be the new John Abba.
The new John Abba.
While my political godfather, while John Abba is my spiritual godfather. I'm waiting for Dr. Damiji to be my juju godfather. Omoye, I have a question for my leadership. You are the top of the list to become a source of queen. So, anyway, let's get to it. I think Dr. Damiji was, I don't know if it's a question or because my organ was on phone, so I couldn't get everything.
but it's not something new. This idea of a special seat for women, I think from where I'm sitting, I don't think it's a good idea because this is an attempt to bust the women folk into one corner. Why are we not reserving special seats for men or for why it's always been women? I think it's a setup to bust them into one corner. I mean, it should be equal seat, or as far as I'm concerned, just like Omoye was saying, if the women folks actually take issue upon their hand, they will run things. So why should they be? Why would the system subject them to beg for seats? I don't understand. So as far as I'm concerned, once you give people some seats, that means that's it. They should never trespass. They should never come out of that place. It's an attempt to buzz them to one corner, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Omoye, if you disagree with me, or if you maybe...
No, I agree with you. You're right about that. Thanks for catching that. That special seat, I maybe if you listen to when I was responding to Dr. Damages, I did mention to him that is the tokenism I just talked about. They find a way to just, when they say special, all of us here know, that special will be their daughter. They will be in full control of it. They will now go and look for some of their expired girlfriends that is bitter against them, that wants to come out and expose everything they did. They will now say, okay, let's just give this one this position, and they will be doing everything they ask them to do, because within the National Assembly, as the rumors have, as it is in the rumors, what we hear on the street is that there's cabal behind the National Assembly that chooses, chooses which senator they want to work with. You understand? So I agree with you. I don't like the idea of special, because it's now putting the power in the hands of a few people again to take advantage of it. And then they will now turn around and say, hey, look at it, oh, we gave women, oh. Meanwhile, it is their women, it is the ones they've groomed that don't know anything, that do not have the heart of the people, that they put there to loot further. So I agree with you, Ovie. You are right on that one. I agree.
See, my village people, we don't win again.
Okay, Ovie, thank you. Mr. James. Mr. James.
Yes, I'm sure you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think it is necessary to create a special seat for women, because look at the men. They outnumber the women. Are they representing the male population responsibly? The answer is no. Look at the few women there. When Natasha got into problem, how many of them stood behind her? The answer is none. The issue is this: the Nigerian society is rotten. There's no way you can select women from a rotten society to behave responsibly in the House of Assembly. It's just like the Nigerian police. When people tell me Nigerian policemen are corrupt, I disagree with them, because when they are recruiting the policemen, they go into Nigerian society, which is already rotten, to select rotten men. So after selecting rotten men, you expect them to be transformed to angels overnight. It's not possible. What the women in Nigeria need is a level playing field. I don't like comparing Nigeria with other countries, because every country is unique. But let me just cite an example with what happened in the Gambia. I'm not saying it should happen in Nigeria. When Yahya Jammeh toppled the First Republic government here in 1994, there was a huge gap between the men and the women. In terms of holding public offices. The women were virtually unrepresented. When the man came to office, he established a university in 1999, the first. Now, he said that if you have the requirement, 5 O levels, including English language and mathematics, you are free to apply for admission. No JAMB exam, nothing. So both the girls and the boys, they were all applying. You don't need to see anybody at home. What is the outcome today? It's almost 50-50, because we see them entering what's called their school buses. The men and the women, they are almost 50-50 attending university, receiving university lectures today. In about 15, 20 years from now, the women are likely to take over the society from men. So this idea of reverse discrimination, that we should reserve seats for women just because they are disadvantaged, I don't think so. Look, the women, they have the mental capability to withstand any man. Some time ago, I think you were the one I was telling on this platform. When my mother was selling at the Kiosa market in Benin City, she was a market woman. She didn't go to school because they were not sending girls to school in their time. Now, when they are selling their commodities, let's say, for example, a can of Coca-Cola costs 17 naira, 15 kobo, and you want to buy 64 of 17 naira, 50 kobo item. Just give those women about 3, 4, 5 seconds. They will tell you the exact cost. Even at the moment, with my elementary knowledge of advanced mathematics, I cannot do it. But how were they able to do it? The mental capability is there. The only thing is that the play field is not level. This is what we should be struggling for. And it's only a revolutionary government that can solve this problem. So this is how I see it. Women don't need special seats. You are correct. If you give them special seats, prostitutes will be representing responsible women. This is how I see it. So thank you very much for your opinion.
All right.
100% agree with Mr. James.
Yeah, I'm not yet a doctor. May your prayers be answered.
Mr. James, I'm speaking it into your future, sir.
Yeah, may your prayers be answered.
He said.
I don't believe in God, but may your prayers be answered.
He said.
But are you working on your PhD? If you are not working, that prayer will not be answered either.
All right, let's go to Chris. Oh, hold on, Chris, because somebody came before. He's gone again. Omoye. Omoye.
To those who are wondering, are they John Abba house? So Mokuda knows that they impersonate them. In their phone, they busy. Yeah, that's why he never can join. They're outside. They're on phone.
Okay. All right.
Are they a house? Yeah.
Okay, Chris. Welcome.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I'm just, when I was listening to you, you mentioned that Nigeria beyond 2027, and probably you're one of those that think that Nigeria needs new leadership to be able to rescue it. Going back history, or going through the history of Nigeria, we had very good leaders during the First Republic, but they actually allowed the Republic to fail. So some people believe that the problem of Nigeria is not actually leadership, but structural. What has not been happening is a debate on whether the structures of Nigeria is actually the problem and not the leadership. So I'm just wondering, what would you think the role of women should be in trying to bring this forth?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris. Greetings to you. The role of women is just as important as any, valid citizen of any country. Is to bring about balance. Women bring about balance. The problem we've had in Nigeria, and you speak about, the people that have come before that have messed up the system. If you notice how many women were among them, you just had men with a lot of egos, and they don't have all the answers. No balance, nobody balancing them on the other end. Where it has to do with empathy and understanding and inclusivity for other people. That's why we're where we are. The omission of women in the history of Nigeria politically, right, has gotten Nigeria to where it is. And when I say women, I'm not just saying any type of willy-willy, any type of woman from anywhere. I'm talking about people who mean well, who are ready to serve the people and bring about the nation because women give birth to children. So if a woman gives birth, a woman can birth a woman births a nation. right? So they know what it takes to bring about balance in that nation. So where the women are omitted, you have taken away the balance. What you have now is just chaos. That's why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. And then on top of that, you add the unfairness that has been going on, and the disregard for women for a long time that has been going on. That's what has gotten us to where we are. So women have a huge role to play in ensuring that we have a balanced system. If you have the right type of women in positions, of authority where they're leading the nation, you will see the difference. The difference will be very, very, very obvious. And you begin to experience the balance that I'm talking about. Nigeria has not had balance since its inception, if I can dare say that. Since its inception, Nigeria has not had any balance. It's been built on lies, right? Fed to us, right? Some of us are still unlearning a lot of the things that we did not know, that we knew were taught wrong. We're learning the truth now. Some of us are understanding the history. I was listening to a video of a guy whose father was once a former governor during the military era. And the guy came out and said, and said some things that I did not know about Nigeria, about the Bakassi Peninsula, right? I did not know about it. So to your question, so I don't deviate too much, is the role of women is very important. It's very important that we get it to a point where women have almost equal, if not equal share in responsibility in ushering this new Nigeria. And the men have to play a role because the men have all the power in Nigeria. They're the ones, if the men say, if a man tells his wife, no, I don't want you to do this, they are not going to, because of the way Nigeria is structured. And men have they have more say and more power in Nigeria. So the men play a huge role in ensuring that that happens as well. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yeah, please let me chip in a word if you don't mind.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. In Africa, we had the first female president, Salif Johnson in Liberia. Then we have Joyce Banda in Malawi. There's one in Tanzania, and there's another now in Namibia. They've not made any difference. Your ability to perform is not it's not based on gender. The character of a man is determined by the law and the way the country is governed. That's what actually determines the character of a man. If a man chooses, when I say man, I mean a human being. If a human being chooses to live his life in a particular way, contrary to what is expected of him, the law should take care of him. Not question, you're being a woman or a man, that is not the issue. If I misbehave, the court is there to send me to where I belong or to impose punishment on me. So it's not a question of being a man or a woman that is the issue at stake. The issue is that the country is badly governed. The laws are not enforced. This is what is disturbing the whole of Nigeria. The country is rotting beyond repair. So for us to find our bearing, we just have to fix the society. It should not be based on gender. We should fix the society itself, enforce the law, the way the country is governed. These are more important than pinning it down on men or women or whatever it is. Thank you for giving me the chance.
Yeah, no, Mr. James, the question wasn't, what you said is valid, absolutely, right? What you said is valid, that the society is based on character. You have to have the character, your perception about how life should work, and we need the type of people that will lead the country and usher, whether you're a man or a woman. I understand, we get it. But his question was, what role do I think women can play in Nigeria?
No special role should be ascribed to a
No,
woman.
not in terms of being special, just in terms of, because of the landscape of Nigeria, you can agree that Nigeria. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I just make this thing? I understand what James is trying to say, but
What role should
I understand what James is trying to say, but the reason why I asked you about women is simply if you go to IDP camps, it's full of women and children. is if you go to most of this at the receiving end of every of this government brutality, whether killing of a husband or spouse or it's always the women. So I'm asking women, given that they have a judge, the chief judge in Nigeria, who the chief justice is a woman. So what role would you women advocates put on such people in positions to try to make them understand that the role they are playing bears a lot of influence on what happens to the women generally and the society?
Who put the Supreme Court justice there in the first place? That's the question. Whose interest is she serving? She was put there by the same government that doesn't want the country to move forward. Whose interest do you think she's going to serve? There's no amount of speaking to her that's going to change that, because she's already corrupted from where she's coming from, allegedly. So there's nothing you can do. Most of the people in Nigeria that occupy positions, money is their motivation. When you have a lot of money behind a group of people running things, whether from outside or within, whose interest do you think they're going to serve, man or woman? They're going to serve the interests of those who are bankrolling them. That's why the regular Nigerian is just suffering. I mean, you're talking about IDP camps. We have a government, and you just said women and children are more. Most of those women and children don't have, some of them don't have any education at all. Some of them, their means of livelihood, which is farming, has been taken away from them. Where do they go to? How many women are going to, how many women, like the Supreme Court justice, if she really knew her role, right, and they all knew what they were doing, in instances of IDP camps and all of that, we should have been a thing of the past by now, because you have people like that stepping in and saying, no, we're not, this is unacceptable. But they're not going to do that because you didn't put them there. They're there to serve a group of people's interests, not yours, not mine, not the regular person on the street. No talk of IDP camps. They don't even know that we have IDP camps. Some of them don't even care. So we're back to square one. So in terms of that, I do agree with Mr. James that it's the integrity of the person, it's the mindset of the person. For instance, the guy in Burkina Faso, he's a man, but guess what? He's standing 10 toes down and he's moving his country forward. He's doing what he needs to do to protect his country, right? Anybody else can do that. If it was a woman who had the opportunity, for instance, to do that and is doing the right thing, everybody will clap for her. So it all depends on the character and the integrity of the person and how well the person wants to serve their people.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Omoye, let me ask you, there's this drama going on in Nigeria between Ned.
Let me quickly say thank you. Let me give a shout out to Tado. Tado, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Ned Nwoko and Regina Daniels. Do you know this man, and do you think there is a bigger issue here in terms of what young people are taking from that drama? Because sometimes we dismiss these things as these are not important conversations to have on prestigious shows, but they matter to young people. There are a lot of young girls who are thinking that the only way out of poverty or whatever situation they find themselves is through men like Ned. What is the lesson? What are we? And again, for the mom, Regina's mom, to come out and say, "Oh, I didn't want her to marry." You know, all the whole story. I have not followed it in details to be able to give accurate day-to-day report. But I saw a video of her in a private jet, maybe this last week, kind of saying that everything is all right. What do you make of that? When you see a story like that, what do you think is going on?
Yes. So Ned Nwoko and Regina Daniels. I couldn't avoid not paying attention to some of what's going on with her because first and foremost, there's the power dynamics. That man, how old is Ned? Ned should be great grandfather to that girl. For people that have children early, Ned will be considered a great grandfather. Okay. So I have concerns that the mother, Regina Daniels' mother, allowed her daughter to be married to a man that age. I have a problem with that. And it speaks to the materialism that has taken over Nigeria, where it's all about money. It's all about money, right? If the man has money, it doesn't matter. Just go be with him. Maybe you are the one to deliver the entire family from all of this suffering. I don't know. I'm just role playing in my head right now with maybe that's what happened because I heard that the father, Regina Daniels' dad, refused for her to be married to the man. He didn't agree with it. He didn't want it. But the mother, for whatever reason, that happened, right? I mean, why would a mother want her child to be married to a man with 5 wives already, or maybe 6, or I don't even know how many in the first place? Why? Is this a recent video?
I don't think this is recent, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so it speaks because she's a young girl already making a name for herself. She could have consistently remained in that path and would have made a name and consistently make a name for herself and get to a point where she would be with somebody who's relatively closer to her age. Because I don't know what Ned can do for a young girl like this, first of all, right? That's just me, that's my opinion, right? And I just see that most of what's happened is materialism, just to live the lifestyle. And, she had people around her that could have prevented this from happening. Unfortunately, they didn't stop it from happening. And here we are, talking about a young girl, right, who was given away. She literally was handed over to this man, went through all the traditional rites just to keep her from, let's say, she keep her, in that corner where she can't get out of it. I have a lot of problem with it. I think it's sad, but then again, I'm hoping it has happened. I'm hoping that she's able to bounce back from this because I mean, it will be an experience for her. I mean, she can speak to other young people to talk to them about the positives and the negatives of these types of life. It's not all about money or crying in the Bentley or keke napep. It's not about that, So there's a lot of value that's been lost there, as a society that you tend to see people glorify stuff like this and say there's nothing wrong with it, So I don't know. For me, in summary, it's sad. I'm not one that supports that kind of child marriage. It's very it's very unpleasant. It's not the best for the kind of society that we want. It's not the best. We shouldn't be closing our eyes to stuff like this, And I think the mom should be held responsible for this great mistake because when that girl married, she was young. She was 18. I don't know anybody when they are, when know wetin they do, when go give their pikin away at 18, no matter how much money the man has. That's what I would say there. Me, I not too they follow all these their stories, but I had to because I kind of felt some type of way about the whole story.
All right. Let me give Ovia one more chance if you have any other comments.
One more chance.
Yeah.
One more chance. Omoye was great this time. I'm tired of telling my village people, giving them excuses. I'm tired of giving them excuses, okay? They want me to bring a queen home so that I can be crowned as the Olososo. If you are not aware, there is a fight going on in that throne before I was born. So I might believe. I think I'm the answer to that conundrum. Anyway, so on a more serious note, When are you throwing your odds? House of Rep, Councilor, Governor, Senate? Well, are we going to see anything like that within the next 20, 15 years?
Dr.
I mean,
Damage.
if you are pushing for women to bring the change, I mean, what is expected? You are already in the system, so
Dr. Damages will let you know.
We will announce it on this show.
He'll be announced on his show.
Yeah.
This one where you are forming,
and that will be a fundraiser for her to go and
there you go.
kick some behind.
Omoye, we are
so
talking about,
so go and make that money because
no,
you're going to need it for fundraising.
We are talking about the future. You are teaming up with a man that is here with his grandfather's mission. I mean,
please let's give Omoye a chance to talk, please.
All right. Now all of us, now our uncle, even though he lost the election, I ain't the best, but it's okay. Go ahead, Omoye.
Thank you, Uncle James, for your recognition. I don't matter for you.
You my senior brother now. Forget we have the same mission. We are just coming from different angle, which is okay.
Doctor, I'm not here for VA today. I don't have time for VA Bible on APC. Today is a different ballgame.
Okay, Omoye, go ahead.
Good to see you, my beautiful sister, my gorgeous sister. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
Before you continue, will you accept to chair our wedding ceremony?
Moderator, please, can you protect me from these Gen Z's and Idomi generation via and co? Please, sir. Am I muted?
No, you were not. I said his some problem is different. It's not Gen Z thing. It's
okay. Okay. I got what you mean. Omoye, you're welcome. Please. Good to see you, Omoye. It's always a pleasure. It's a delight having you. My question is, okay, let me not start with the question. A scholar once said, a popular scholar in Nigeria once said, the problem with the Nigerian system or with the African generally is simply and purely leadership problem. And it crosses across board, whether in the religious cycle, whether in the traditional cycle, we have the same problem. The reason why we focus more on the political cycle, because that's where the power is, where we move from the old system of the traditional system to democracy, more powers have been arrogated to the so-called rulers. And it's always easy for us to blame our politicians. It's very easy. We're very loud when it comes to those that have imposed themselves over us to rule over us. But when it comes to what we are doing, the damage we are doing to ourselves as a people, sometimes we are not as loud as we do when we blame those that are in charge. I'm coming from the angle of complicity of the people, which, often in the religious cycle, for example, most of us are really ready to kill for our pastors. We value our pastor more than we value the God who created the pastor. We have a different, quotation for the Bible. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. That's just one of them. In the transitional cycle, even if your traditional ruler is a kidnapper, by the time the victim is straight to the palace, you dare not go there. His sins are forgiven. And even the political leaders we blame oftentimes, they don't stay forever. The highest they stay is actually 8 years. The only man that wanted to do a third tenure couldn't have his way because of the resistance of Nigerians. I mean, do you think it's high time we focus, we change the narrative, blame ourselves for the damage we are doing to ourselves based on religious, tribal, ethnic, and the other primordial sentiments which are not relevant to our well-being as a people? The way continue to blame our political leaders less and focus more on the damage we are doing to ourselves. We talk about revolution, we talk about protest. You said the protest has not been successful, as in your own language, your own word, that it has become less successful over the years. It's not the protest that is the issue. Our attitude towards the protest. If you call a protest now, as my beloved old sister, the one from neighboring Anambra will tell you, no, that is a do issue. If the damage is called a protest, the other one from the other side, Emilio Consa will tell you that is their own headache. I mean, can we continue to, instead of focusing on these people, we already know who they are. Even in the pre-colonial era, when they came, the problem was the major factor weaponized against us was the divide and rule factor. We read from the books, we have been told over the years that our problem is the division among the people, and yet we allow this current crop of politicians to divide us over mundane, trivial, and non-relevant things. How long do we continue to blame these people who merely take advantage of the division among the people and the acrimony among the people? Can we continue to blame ourselves? Because they say the people deserve the kind of leadership they have. Can we continue to shift the focus on ourselves, coming together as a formidable force against this minority that are not to 1% that are lording it over us? This is my question. Thank you.
Greetings, my brother, Comrade Omoye. Thank you very much. You are right in what you said, that we need to focus on ourselves, focus on, try to organize ourselves. When I said that, I don't know if maybe you didn't capture everything I said when I was talking about protests. I'm not disregarding protests completely. You yourself can admit to the fact that now when you do protests in Nigeria, this same government will pay people money for counter protests. That's now a thing in Nigeria. So we have things that are concerning to us. Like what Chiwore did is a wonderful thing, regardless of whether he's your favorite person or he's not your favorite person. Because what he was able to achieve was to bring everybody together. So it wasn't just, Southeastern thing. It now became Nigerian problem for the first time. Let's not even pretend about that, right? But what happens? You have counter protests now. That wasn't a thing before. You have people coming out that they have intentionally made poor, that would take 1,000 naira just so that they can eat, or 2,000 or 3,000, depending, right? To come and do a counter protest. I'm saying we need to find and think of other ways that we can make the protest more effective. Not doing away with, I'm not casting down protests. I'm saying we should get more strategic so that we can get the desired result. That's what I'm saying. Now, yes, I agree with you. As a people, we need to come together. This is one of my central message on my own platform. We need to think of how we can come together so that we can move this country forward. Forget your politicians are gone. They are fat. They cannot move. They've eaten. They cannot move. We're dealing not only about, if there are too many, maybe like 1,000 people or even less at the top, right? So we, the people that are suffering it the most, for instance, I remember when the retired police people came out to protest for non-payment. It was the same police people they used against them. How do we bridge that gap? How do we get the police people to understand that the same fate awaits you when you retire? With the military, the same things, because they bring out the military, they bring out the DSS, they bring out every security force in Nigeria anytime people want to protest or express their grievances towards the government. So you are right. We need to start thinking of ways to come together as a people. We need to find ways to go grassroots education to make people understand, even though we know those that will still collect 5K, 2K, 20K will still be there. But how many of those people that are collecting 2K, 20K are ready to change their minds and say, okay, it's true, this thing affects me, affects everyone. Let me drop this one. Let me stop doing this and join these people that are fighting for the right thing. We saw what happened in Madagascar. Is it Madagascar? I think it was Madagascar, where people were protesting. The military joined the people and say, no, we're not going to buy our people. We're going to support them because we know we want to get it right. This is where we need to reach. This is where we need to get to in Nigeria. This government that is there right now has successfully been able to separate. If you notice, the top officials in every security agency in Nigeria is well taken care of. But the people underneath, they are not getting anything. He's been able to create division even amongst those people. So it is a conversation that we can continue to have, because we're not going to get the answer today. So it's now on us, you and I, right, to go and start educating our people and making them understand that, look, you sink or swim. There's no getting away here. I did say 2027. I don't see Nigeria beyond 2020. Nigeria is already gone as it is. It's already fallen into the hands of these terrible people, So I agree with you, Mr. Comrade Omori. We must find a way to galvanize, talk to ourselves, there are other strategies. One person no dey know and finish. The way me I see it is different from the way you or anyone else will see it. But we all need to come together so that we can try and find a solution, so we can get whatever is left of the country, we can get it back.
Okay. Let me, before we're going to take a break at one point. Hold on.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Omoye. So they retired the service chiefs, and
Yes.
after that, they are going to retire about 160 generals. The figures are not yet. We've not agreed on the figures, but a lot of them will go home because of seniority issues. And part of the retirement package for them, I was reading it, one of them is that they will get every year $20,000 for medical treatment. Each of the chiefs. They will get a Padro SUV. They will get a bulletproof vehicle. And this happens so frequently in Nigeria. I don't know how many retired generals we have, how much they are costing the country in terms of maintaining them. I heard that if you're a general, you have a military person that is permanently attached to you, maybe more than one, I don't know. But some of these things, we don't think about it in terms of the size of government, especially when we do make these decisions that will require a whole generation of army officers with their experiences all gone. And you have new people and you have to go and train. I don't know, I don't understand. But when I think about this in terms of what we are trying to build and the West in the system, it's not just generals, also all the governors, their deputy governors, their retirement packages, they are outrageous. And if you think about it, we've done this democracy since 1999. If you go back and think of the number of governors we are taking care of, the number of deputy governors, the number of senators, and it's unbelievable, while majority of people are making a minimum wage. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's intentional, and I think it ties into the division I'm talking about. So what the government has successfully done is to separate the top people from the lower people. Those top people are the ones who have all the powers, right? They have the resources available to them. Meanwhile, the ones that are actually doing the work, the foot soldiers, are left to just unalive on the battlefield, or maybe through illness or injury or whatever, right? So I heard about the 130, by the way, and the figure is still not fully confirmed yet. I'm also keeping an eye out for that, right? So imagine if that happens, and guess what? We've already put money into training. Those people have been trained, right, in the art of warfare and all of that. You retire all of them. What are we now left with? And I even saw an article where some of the soldiers were saying they don't want to work with the repentant Boko Haram people. There's that problem going on. They don't want to work with them because they feel, how can we be working with the same people that we're supposed to be taking out? You understand? So this is the chaos that they have successfully created. So when they take those people who are very experienced out of the force, what are we left with? You're left with Boko Haram repentant people working within the same military architecture. What do you think that result will be? They will now turn against each other. Who has more of the resources? The repentant Boko Haram people. So we're in a rut here. I don't know. We're in a deep rut in Nigeria. I don't know why Nigerians, left to me, protests should be happening all over the world about Nigeria, from New York to wherever you are, even if you stay in the small Bhutan, the smallest, any country, everywhere supposed to dey erupt with Nigerians protesting and talking about what's going on in there. I'm telling you. But here we are, right? So to your point, that's what the government wants to do, to add to what I was saying earlier and your question. This government is doing exactly what it wants to do, to balkanize and break the back of the people. So when you retire all those officials and they have all that resources at their disposal, you think that they want to come and fight for you? They don't chop belle full, air condition, breeze don't blow them. They are not going to be thinking about you. They've eaten breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They are not hungry. They don't know what it feels like to be hungry. The person on the street is the one who's feeling it. Guess what? They are disconnected from the sufferings of the people.
All right. And when they say $20,000, it means that they are talking about treatment abroad, because
Yes,
they're not thinking about Nigeria
at all. Where are the facilities in Nigeria?
All right. I want to take a break, but if you are going to be quick and obviate quick before, and then we'll round up when we come back. Go ahead, James.
You see, the issue of the retired generals, the cause is this. Those they've retired already recently now, I think the man to head the military belonged to a lower cadre of generals. So if they appoint him, those ahead of him, they will all be swept away. That is the reason why they want to retire so many generals. But the only solution to this problem is a revolution. If the country is subjected to a revolutionary change, all this nonsense, why should a general be paid for life? How educated are they? Let's call a spade a spade. These are generals who cannot even pass exams. When I was a student at university, most of the books I read on meteorology and climatology were written by the United States Corps of Engineers, U.S. Corps of Engineers. I've never read any peer-reviewed journal article written by members of the Nigerian Armed Forces. So what kind of generals are we producing? These are all deadwoods who were promoted based on favoritism, and they are milking the country to death. So it's only a revolutionary change that will bring an end to all this nonsense.
All right. Ovie.
Yeah, I think Comrade Omoye, my senior brother, raised a very important concern, talking about protests. I think in today's world, for a protest to be successful, three things have to stand out. The person or the people who are calling the protest, the reason for the protest, and the resources available to pursue that process. Let's use our own situation as an example. Shiwore is a very classical example. Shiwore, people agree with me, it was at the peak of his popularity before he joined partisan politics. At the peak of Sahara Reporters, everybody, regardless of where you are in the world, if you know about Nigeria, you want to listen to what Sahara Reporters bring. The guy was well loved, and I think he capitalized on that to run for presidency. There's nothing wrong with that. But the flip side of that is that once you bring yourself like that, you are now automatically you are going to annihilate half of your followers, because those half of your followers already have stake in the game. They get person where they won't make take that position. So you don't eliminate half of them. That is the problem he's facing now, calling protests. Of course, now only core believer 9 will come out. Other people know will come out. Then the reason why you are calling the protest. If the reason you are calling the protest is very narrow, like that of Nnamdi Kanu, automatically nobody everybody will come out. Based on their reason why, because of the person you are calling the protest for. You say bad government, that's political statements. That's too broad. Nobody. So when you, just like NSAS is a clear example. You cannot say that the person will call the protest be this. And the reason they are calling the protest is national. So that is very important. Then the resources. How much do you have to mobilize people? whether you like it or not. We live in a capitalist world and people are hungry. If you don't spend money to prepare people out, to feed them while they are doing it, your opponent, especially Showore, who is a politician, his opponents who are looking for the same position, they will spend resources to make sure those who are on the other side go against it. That's not normal because it's not competition. So this three things is very important. The person and the people who are calling the protest, the reason for the process, and how much do you have to pursue that process? If these three things are not very well defined for an average people to understand without necessarily reason left and right, it's bound to fail.
All right, thank you. Omoye, you want to comment? Do we take a break when we come back? I have a question for you that someone sent to me on the phone. I will ask you when we come back.
Yeah, when we come back.
Okay, so let's take a break. We'll come back and round up our conversation with Omoye's Corner. right, thank you. Welcome back, everybody. This is our concluding conversation with Omoye's Corner from Omoye's Corner show. There were people who joined. I wanted to get them to weigh in, but before then, Omoye, there's this question I got for you from someone. Says I should ask you about successful protest. When a protest is successful, what concrete steps and activities, who benefits from it? Do we have any successful protests in Nigeria, and who benefits from it?
I can't really speak widely about that because I can't say I've been aware of every single protest that has taken place in Nigeria. I cannot say that, right? So, a successful protest, I would assume, is achieving the goal. What is the goal? For instance, you're not happy with the fact that, you know, the school fees for your children, in whether it's secondary school or university, has been increased. And people come out and say, no, we're demanding that those fees not be increased, but be kept at the level it was in. Let's say you were paying 10 naira. They now tell you got to be paying 1,000 naira. You say, no, 10 naira, 10 naira, because that is what we want, right? And you stay on it. And the government comes and says, okay, hell, all right, the people are not happy with it. 10 naira it is, right? People have they've achieved their goal for that protest. That is what I would consider a successful protest, right? So whatever the needs are, whatever the grievances are that you have against your government, some of them are not like white and black, like I have explained it now, but depending on what your goal is, what is the goal for the protest, first of all? What do you hope to achieve at the end of this protest? Are you going to achieve it? For instance, they did end SARS. They were to end the SARS, end it, like end, pata pata. What did they do? They claimed that they ended, but they rebranded it and brought it back again. Nothing happened. So yeah, that's what, to me, that's what I would consider a successful protest.
All right. Thank you.
I know one successful protest.
Yeah, which one?
Okay.
During the Second Republic, Akiyomo Boriowo of Ondo State and Michael Ajasin, they contested election that was badly rigged. The people took over the streets. The Supreme Court had no option than to reverse its decision. That was a successful protest.
Yeah.
Even in Kano State, I think recently, Kano, when they were trying to rig the what's the name of their party? NNPP. Where's Ovie? Ovie Kwankwasia, man. They're trying to rig in Kano, I think. And the people in Kano came out on the streets and protested. They wanted APC. They wanted to impose a candidate on them. And they refused, and they came out in the streets, right? That's a successful one, actually.
Mm. Even in the 60s, I believe that there was one when Nigeria wanted to sign a military pact with Britain. Nigerian students then protested that shouldn't happen, and the government pulled back from that. So that was successful.
Most of these protests, they are not actually unsuccessful because they affect government decisions in future. Whenever they want to do nonsense, they remember what has happened in the past. Unknown to you and me, what happened in the past shaped their decisions in the future. So no protest actually is a complete failure.
Okay.
All right, let's hear from John Abba. There was somebody I saw, Musa. I think he's out. I can't find him now. But John Abba, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ogarudi, how are you?
Yeah, this is the real John Abba, for those who do not know.
We have fake John Abba.
Yeah, Ovio was pretending to be you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Your glasses still have that rope at the back. I think it's the one that my grandfather used to wear.
If I tell you the story, I started doing that, but I will tell you the story one day when you call me.
All right. Yeah, We have a big head and small head, so it's a good size.
Mm.
How
So,
you doing, fellow panelists and Omoye? How you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. Greetings to you, sir.
Yeah, you are well positioned. You look nice. You look like you are ready for the business. KJ, my brother, sometime my
Thank
energy,
you.
but he's a good man.
Thank you, sir.
Chris is another man. He's bipolar like me, go up and down, but he's on medication today, I believe.
all right, Janaba, we have to round up. Question
Go
or
ahead.
comment? Do you have any question or comment for Omoye Skona?
I think he's invested his energy more into a new beginning of a new lifestyle instead of this managing the same cancer. That should kill the cancer, kill the cell. And there's managing politicians in Nigeria are more of the same. I think we should do away with all that. I think we should go into a different level of the next 20, 30 years when you and I might have gone to meet our ancestor, that a vibrant soul can take Nigeria, that even when we look from the other side, if there's other side to look from, and see that people are moving the dream that we have for our continent and our black race, but managing the same symptom. I think we are not investing our energy in the right place, but I think we're all in different place. So, but overall, I think she's a good woman. She dressed like Ajia today, so I don't have any question for her, but listen to her.
All right. Thank you, Jonava. People they may not notice. Jonava just said that he's a pastor. He just said that he has no idea where we're going after we finish from here. I don't know what he tells his congregation, but thank you, Jonava. Amaska, you have any comment or question?
Uh, well, no question. One commendation, one comment. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Mr. Rudolph, for having all of us, and more grease to your already greased elbow. May God continue to keep you for us.
Thank you.
And keep you in good health.
Thank you.
All right. The first commendation is I want to just commend the lady. It's very encouraging to see ladies come out. And of course, we as Africans know that our ladies, we have historical ladies. So I think it's good to keep up the tradition. Well done and well done and well done. Now,
Thank you, sir.
the second thing, what you're trying to put your finger on in terms of the protest, I think the real issue is simple. It's a tactical issue. I'm an ardent football fan. I like it because people just see people play. But what I like about football is that there's a lot of brain work that goes behind it. There's a lot of tactical maneuvers. Now, one of the things that a good football team does is that they don't keep playing the same way they play. If you know this is how they play for this season, next season, they overhaul their pattern. So it's difficult for you to come and play them based on the antecedents. Now, in terms of the history of protest, the simple truth is that those who are protesting against have seen through us. If we continue to do the same pattern of protest, already they would have plans for it. So what we really need to do is not an issue about protest, but is to do with, let's be more tactical in terms of, okay, so they know this is what we used to do. What should we do differently that they don't expect? You have to put a lot of thinking into whatever it is that you will do. You just don't wake up in the morning. My parents, this is how they were protesting, and you want to protest like that. The man you're protesting is not stupid. He would know that, okay, this is where they will even go. The funny thing with protesters is that they have one predetermined place. So everybody knows that this is where you guys are going to gather. And let me give you a good example of this tactical thing that I'm talking about. during this last not NSAS, this bad governance protests in Kano, what I remember, I was following them, and what I noticed they did, which was very commendable, is that they have already told people this is where we are going to follow. So these miscreants that want to go and hijack it, they were already positioning themselves there. So the leaders quickly realized that, okay, if this thing is gonna, we have to quietly also tell people this is where we say we're going, but we're not going to actually go there. We're going to go fly a different route. This happened in Kano. So the people who are waiting for them to come, they waited for the whole day, they didn't see them. What you're trying to put your finger on is that we have to be more tactical about protest, because the people who are going to be protesting against, they know what we will do. If we do what they expect us to do, then obviously we should, the result will be a given result. The last one also is, I just pray that you made a comment that when Mr. Rudolf played the video, that you want to follow that. I think for me, for every Black African, look, for every African, sincerely, it's important we go and delve into our history. If you do that, you can't have a grouse against another Black man simply because he's a Christian or a Muslim. You will know who truly is your enemy. You will know who truly is holding you down. You will know who truly is constantly blocking your progress. I really pray that you go and search. There's a lot, and I think you should dig into that. And once again, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maska. Thank you for your kind comments as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that word that you use, tactics. Thank you. Tactical. That is the word. Not so much against protesting, but what tactics are we using? We need to get more creative and intelligent, because these people don't see us finish. If we say we are coming now, they already know what you are going to do. I mean, you are dealing with a master protester there already. The man already knows the angles, the direction, he knows the language, he knows what, so that's what I was trying to say, and Maska just nailed it for us. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. And yes, and I'm very happy that Dr. Damages played that video. That video, I'd never seen it before. So you can imagine, as I was listening to it, I was like, oh my God, it feels like the man is living in this time that we are in, and we're having the same conversations, because I've had conversations like that. Like, I've been in spaces where people talk about a united African state. I'm like, that's a great idea. But in order for us to get there first, we have to first deal with our immediate concerns. We have to know what we are doing. Remove tribe, remove religion. I'm not saying don't worship what you want to worship. Worship what, if it's wood you are worshiping, worship it in the corner of your house, right? But we have to understand that we're Africa first before any other thing, So before we can get there, I don't know, but I think, I guess talking about it, thank God for social media, that we have social media, maybe that will help. I don't know. Everybody needs to play their own parts and see where it all goes. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Niger's, two Nigers, one brain cell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hi, I'm Rudolf. Hello, Omoye.
Hi.
I actually came on because there was something KJ has been pushing, and there's a lot of people pushing the same thing, and I think it's just their ignorance on the law. And he asked you a question about it. But I'm going to go to that lastly. The one thing I just want to ask, and if you would permit Mr. James to answer, I want to ask Mr. James, because he keeps harping on about a revolution. And I want to ask, is he advocating a violent revolution, or is he advocating for a non-confrontational approach? And if he's advocating for a violent revolution, is he willing to participate in it?
You know, in British history, there's what they call the Industrial Revolution. They did not shed blood. It was a very peaceful movement.
So a violent, a non-confrontational, non-violent.
Why are you afraid of confrontational revolution?
I never said I was afraid. I'm asking you if it is violent or non-violent.
A revolution is a revolution. A radical break.
A revolution.
A radical break from the decadent past. That's what a revolution is.
So are you asking for a, if it's a non-violent revolution, we can just move on? That if you're saying it's a mild revolution, then...
Excuse me, you should answer the question. If I'm advocating a violent or non-violent revolution, you read between the lines. You get what I mean?
I can't. That's what I'm asking. So if you say non-violent revolution, we can move on. So for Omoye, I wanted to ask you, because the presumption I'm getting from you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, especially with your utterances by mentioning things like moderate Muslims or moderate Islam. I want to know, do you think, on your end, because I've heard it from other people, do you think there is a plan to Islamize Nigeria?
Yes.
You think so? All right, fair enough. So I want to ask you, if, for example, there was a 50,000 capacity mosque being built anywhere in southern Nigeria, would you have a problem with it, or would you also think that it's a plan to further Islamize Nigeria?
Why would we have 50,000 mosques being built in the south? Why would it even?
No, 50,000 capacity.
50,000 capacity. They already have that in the south, anyways. Here's the thing. Let me answer your question. I'm not against the Islamic religion, just for the record. I grew up in Ibadan. I went to Ileke, what they call Ileke for children. I've been where you do, and go there. I understand the faith at the elementary level, because after that I didn't go. We were neighbors. We all lived together peacefully. This version of Islam that we're experiencing in Nigeria right now is very foreign to those of us that grew up in neighborhoods where we had Muslims, native, traditional Christians, and those that did not believe in anything.
All right, but my question is still.
I'm not deviating from your question. I'm just trying to, for the benefit of doubt, because I don't want people to misinterpret this, because this is a very sensitive conversation we're having right now. That's why I'm building that, laying that foundation. I don't have a problem with them having any 50,000 capacity in the south. That has nothing to do with anything. I have a problem with when there's evil, you don't call it out. That's what I have a problem with. That's what I think majority of the people have a problem with. Because every time that these types of carnage go on, it's always in the name of Islam. So if you now know that, okay, this thing is not, this thing that these people are doing is not what we believe in, call it out. We will not be where that was done.
Well, my question still remains. If there was a 50,000 capacity mosque being built in somewhere in southern Nigeria, would you be against it, and would you think it was a plan to Islamize Nigeria?
I already answered that question, Oga. I'm not going to answer it again. I just made it clear to you. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is for when you're practicing a religion and people are doing something evil in the name of that religion, do you have the boldness to call it out? I don't have a problem with them having
So that leads me. So that leads me. So that leads me to the third something you actually even.
The final one, because we have to go.
Well, the final one would have been what KJ brought up. She mentioned something which actually made me remember something about the Sultan not calling out the incidents in the north, which is actually not true. And we have to be very clear about that. The Sultan has actually called out the atrocities of Boko Haram in the north several times in the past decades. It's on there, on archives all over the internet. We can check that. Now, to the final question I wanted to ask you, which is what KJ brought up. When you say Nnamdi Kanu's extraordinary rendition, when you criticize it and you went against it, I'm assuming you're in the United States, were you basing your premise on Nigerian law or were you basing it on US law?
I just answered it as a human being that sees that what is done is wrong. I'm not basing it on any type of law, whether Nigerian or the US. I'm answering it as an outsider looking in and observing how the law works in other countries and how it works in Nigeria, and recognizing that that is not right. I mean, why should that happen? That's how I answer that question. And then
So which means you're basing it on the law.
To your comment about the Sultan, it's all over social media too, where he made a reference to Boko Haram being part of them. And I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting it verbatim. Is there?
Well, if that's that, let me grant you that. But that wasn't my position. My position was your statement that he never criticized it. But back to my question, which you haven't answered. If you say you were answering it just as a human being
I'm not going to respond to that question.
All right. But let me come. Is it okay if I complete? Is it okay if I complete my?
I'm just not going to.
No, I haven't completed it. Is it okay if I complete it? So if you're answering,
you can complete it and then maybe answer it yourself too. How about that?
Yeah. I wasn't answering the question. So I'm saying if she's saying she was going as just a human being using her sentiments, that is fair. I cannot dispute that. But if you now say I'm using as a human being how it works, but how it works in every jurisdiction, then I would think it is imperative and it is fair that maybe we balance that out and figure out, are you talking about Nigerian law or are you talking about US law? Or are you just talking about yourself as a person? If you're not using the law, then that is fine. If you're using the law, then I wanted to challenge your answer based on what KJ asked you and what you said.
Yeah, and I already answered you that.
All right. So, anyway. Thank you, 2 Nigerians, 1 brain cell. All right, we've done almost 3 hours. That wasn't what we booked for. Thank you.
Rudolf, let me just say something before you round up. Okay. I know that I Speak the Truth is trying to push Omoye to say something to support his argument. But go again and check. Not only, every other lawyer who has spoken on this issue has spoken on the fact that the Nigerian law does not permit extraordinary rendition. You can't be more Catholic than the Pope. People who are practicing lawyers.
Why not?
In Nigeria.
Why not? Why do you think so? Why do I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about?
Don't try to use it as a yardstick to put up an argument just to end on your own. If you want to learn, this is a platform to learn. And if you feel otherwise, allow the person and you can go correct yourself.
Rudolph.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Rudolph, so is it okay if I speak? Let me just make one last thing.
So I wasn't trying to push I wasn't trying to push her to do anything, and I frankly would not even like to indulge KJ on this topic because he absolutely does not know what he's talking about. But if she was speaking from a U.S. law point of approach, then I would have asked her to check to, I would assume if she was speaking from a U.S. point of approach, to check the Kerr-Frisbee doctrine, right? And then check case law like U.S. versus Porter, U.S. versus Postal, U.S. versus Matter. Then look into cases like U.S. versus Noriega, which they brought the Panama president over, U.S. versus Ochoa, in the seventh district. So when you look at things like that, and only one case law has ever gone against extraordinary rendition where the defendant was a fugitive, and that is U.S. versus Toscanino. And to be fair, Toscanino goes against general doctrine, but every other district goes against Toscanino. So this is what I thought she was going to go across. But if she said she was just speaking from a personal point of view, that is fine. But with KJ, I just would not. I just respectfully will not even waste my time engaging with you on this issue.
All right.
But
Thank you.
Omoye, I did not try to rile you up. I just wanted to have a discussion. That's it.
Thank you. Before we round up, Omoye, there's something we have been avoiding on this show, which is what's happening in America. Most of us here live in America and their implications. Somebody called me yesterday and was interested in knowing what happened to some Africans in New York City who were Trump sent in ICE to Canal Street, where a lot of Africans they've been they go there, they trade on knockoff items, like shoes and watches and stuff like that. They picked up a lot of people, and even in the debate for New York mayor, which the election is happening next week, it came up. And the candidates were saying that the ICE has no business coming to New York trying to enforce petty laws about whether you are selling items that are not original. They had issue with that. But there's a wider issue that we are avoiding. How is this administration here impacting the lives of us Africans? It may not be individually us, because maybe we don't have any problems, but it's still something that bothers, that is an issue with Africans. There's this African woman who had a baby and took the baby and dumped the baby somewhere. I didn't follow the story so much, somewhere in New York too. But these things there are implications for us, even mental, how we are dealing with it mentally. I went somewhere yesterday and people were saying that they can't go back home to Nigeria or to Africa because Africa is a mess. They can't stay here. I'm talking about people who are retiring. So there's a wider conversation that we should be having. Maybe not today, but I just wanted to get their viewpoint on the whole atmosphere of America for immigrants, which we are one of them, for those of us who live in America.
Dr. Damages, it's safe to say, if to say we sweep our house when we're cleaner, we will see clean house enter. As it can be say our country, however, let me take that because I met somebody yesterday who is back home, used to live here, lived here over 20 years, moved back home, has a farm. He has a farm, has a poultry, has a farm for game meat, for bush meat. He has a farm for that as well. Has a water production company. And in a small town, he's not even in Lagos or he's doing his thing. He comes here, spends 2 months, go back home, do 6 months, do his business, do everything. Everything that they pay him, he goes, he sees that they are paying money, he has everything set up. So I asked him, I had the opportunity to ask him yesterday, so how are you surviving? What is it like being at home and everything? Because relatively, he has retired home. He just comes here every once in a while. So he said, well, that he's part of, he's very he's part of the community. He does what he can to uplift the community. The police station, relatively small police station because it's a small town that he lives in. He helps them, he goes what their needs are, he kind of contributes money, there's insecurity issues too. So they have this local guards that they use. He goes to them, find out what their needs are. So he just does what he can. He says he just kind of figures out how to maneuver. That it's not as bad as we make it out to be. You just know how to move and when to move and where you're going and stuff like that. So he's able to successfully do this. So to that, I say maybe a lot of us, a lot more. And I actually I've thought about it before, where why don't we all start moving back home and doing the best we can. I mean, this is, I mean, you can take it however way you want. You know, everybody has their own opinion. But yeah, it's something that maybe we can look at, because if the small towns are left vacant, that's when they can come in and take over and, stay in your spaces and be in your bush. But if people are starting to move back home and engaging, even going, and we have some tactical people, I don't want to use the word, but you know what I mean. I have some tactical people here who have lived here, probably retired. They can go back home and we can engage some of them, and they can be some of the people walking the bushes and stuff like that. That's what I think. But this is why, for me, it's very important for us to do the best we can to fix home, because there's only so much you can do in a foreign land where you are living your life. No matter how fantastic the life is, there's still no place like home. If home is okay, then your stay outside or outside of the country will relatively be comforting in a way. But if home is not okay, you always have this disturbance in your mind. For those of us who are connected to us, that still feel connected to that soil, you're still going to be disturbed and you cannot run away from its problems. So yeah, we need to fix home so that people that want to retire genuinely can go back and retire, and also find people who have already retired, because there are people who have already retired and are living their best lives. So they are not these things, they know it's are happening, but they know how to walk around the system. Talk to them, find out how they take they do them, so that you go fit leverage on what they are doing, so you too you can do the same. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, one last thing. When you were talking, we were talking about China and Singapore, and you talked about, maybe people can mention India. These are big nations now. In 50 years ago, 30 years ago, they were not where they are today. Part of their success story, you ask, what did they do? Part of the success story was that most of them went abroad, acquired knowledge, went back home. Even the people who are here, they are running big corporations here, unlike us. We don't have our people running big corporations. They are running big corporations here. They are transferring knowledge between here and home. They are setting up businesses. They are making their universities, well, the best in the world, and using that knowledge. And, they have this network that we don't even have. But that's how they built, that's how India is coming in the next 10 years, 20 years. India is going to be number 3, 4 country in the world, or 5. China is already number 2, if not number 1. So this is happening in our lifetime, and we don't have to go and reinvent the wheel to know what they did. We see how they did it, but we're not there yet. We are still fighting small issues about.
We are there. Well, I mean, Dr. Damages, I'm glad you brought that up. It's something that we can do. We just have to learn to come together and work together. If you have 3 or 4 people, let's say you don't want to do it on your own, there are people who don't want to move back on their own because they want to be able to move out in groups, you can come together and create a business to employ multiple people in your community. You can move there, because if you move there like that, the government, you have some level of government support too. Let's not, as bad as Nigeria is, if you have something you want to do, I know it's corrupt and all of that, you can find a way to, like, okay, this is what I want to come and do. Let me come and try and see what I can do now. But you people, so you will have that, and then you will now find a way to meet with the people, familiarize yourself with your community people, let them know you so that you know them, know the security. We know the challenges are that are in Nigeria now. Know, okay, the security people that are working for you, get to know them, whatever their needs are, like your own way of paying tax, you pay and help them, support them. I think that is something that we should really truly consider doing as a people that have acquired enough skills. You don't have to know all the book in the world. You don't have to have become a PhD or whatever. You know, in Nigeria, we like alphabet names. A lot of people like that. So, but whatever we have, we can take it back, even if, just to create opportunities for people back home. Because when Chinese people and the Malaysians and the Singaporeans were doing it, their country was not safe too. But they found a way to walk around it to get it where it is now. We can do the same thing. The question is, are we going to do it? Will we put our differences aside and put ego, check ego outside of the door and do it? That is the cocoa of the matter. As I did, so I ready for who ready to go. But now okay, put your ego aside. Let's get our hand free. Let's build this thing. But we need to. That's the only way. That's another way to deliver Nigeria.
All right, thank you. Just what you said now made me think. I will bring somebody who I know who used to live in the West and went back home to tell us his experience. That's something that I think most people want to listen to. Before we go, I will just
one more thing. Sorry, Dr. Damages. The biggest concern for people is the hospitals. That's the biggest concern. Like, okay, if there's a issue, where do I run to and all of that? Here's a solution for that. Where do you run to? Some of us know doctors. Some of us have family members that are doctors. We have friends that are doctors. Come together, talk to doc. Call your fellow doc friends, doc. Let's be, even if na small community hospital with your professionals. If na something una fit dey do amongst una selves, rotate. One person visit 1/4 of the year, the other person will rotate 1/4 of the year to meet the needs of the people that are there. Do you know that can be done? I don't think that people are having enough conversations around that. That's why it is not happening. If people are having enough conversations about that and we are serious about it, you will see it happening. Because I tell you for free, there are people who have moved home. Yesterday, the person I was talking to, I was amazed how much this person has been able to achieve and putting things in place. I'm like, whoa. So anyway.
Yeah, thank you so much. And my concern is not really about doctors per se, but something that people don't think about in Nigeria. When someone is injured, you see a scene of an accident, the first thing people will do here or anywhere in the West is, how do we get them to the hospital? But in Nigeria, it's about, people will be walking around, like we saw a hospital in Anambra State, new hospital. There's no ambulance. There's no system to bring a sick person to that hospital. So
sorry, Mr. Rudolph. Sorry, please.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Omoye. I'm actually in Nigeria, just for the record. So I want to just push back on what Rudolph is saying.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, we may not agree, but the thing is, if there's any accident, you will see how people will abandon what they do and they rush people to hospitals. My mother was shot by armed robbers, I think about 20 years ago. We don't know the guy who took her to the hospital till today. He picked her up, he took her to the hospital, and it's always like that. I personally know that if I see, I have not seen an accident where people pass. We don't have
not that they pass. No, not that they pass, Maska. I have several videos. I can't play any of them here. And it's something that has been my main issue. People will be taking videos. People will walking around and looking at these people. They can't help. They don't have vehicles. I'm not blaming them.
Rudolph, go ahead. Finish up. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. What I'm saying is that there's no system. I'm not blaming the people. I'm not saying people are callous. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's no system anywhere else. Even in India, you can call a number, and ambulance will come and take someone to the hospital. And then when you get to the hospital, there's a video I can show you. Someone who took someone to the hospital and had to pay so that they will treat that person. I mean, that system, that process is not yet where it should be. Because sometimes it's a question of 5 minutes. If you are not in the hospital in 5 minutes, that may be the end. There are a lot of people who die who shouldn't die.
I agree with you, Dr. Damages, but let me also, as a solution-minded person, okay, that in that kind of scenario, you and I, okay, we know, we've seen these videos. I have seen them too, so I can't even say that they are not. I've seen those videos as well. This is part of the work that we need to do as a people amongst ourselves, where okay, you start to educate the people and understand your own immediate community people, and as far as you can go, like, look, if something is happening, the first thing you should do is not pick up the phone. The first thing you should do is to try and help the person, and which, to Mr. Masker's point, it does happen in Nigeria. When there's an issue, right, with someone, Nigerians have a tendency to just surround the whole thing and want to see what they can do. There's that happens as well. But this is where we have a lot of work to do, because the China, the Singapore, the Malaysia, this is what they did. I was listening to a video, a clip of Lincoln Yu, where he was talking about how they built elevators, they changed the slums, they built new houses, and they had to relocate those people that lived in the slums to this high rise because they were not used to it. Guess what? They used to pee in the elevator. Okay, to now deal with that issue, you know what they did? They said, okay, they're going to install cameras. They put cameras there. Instead of peeing in the elevator now, they will open it and be peeing outside of the elevator. What did they now do? They said, okay, if we catch anybody, you pay a fine. So they had like punitive things that they were doing. Now, for us, because we know we don't have a government that is there yet. Now it's all people. So first of all, let's admit first, we not get government. So now we go help ourselves. Let's just imagine you are living in the jungle. You have to cater for yourself. You have to provide things for yourself. What do? You go now gather. You say, okay, in case of this thing, because we have understanding, everybody comes with their skills. We say, okay, let's create this so that in case this thing happen, we will see where to go. In case that won't happen, we'll see where to go. You know why I say this? Let me give you an example. When I went to visit Ibadan while I was in Nigeria, I went to Ibadan to go to what's the name of this visit? UTI. It's not UTI. Where those scientists go, farmers.
Institute of Agricultural.
Yeah. IITA. IITA is like a different country. IITA, if you enter IITA, everywhere is the roads. You have lakes that they created, they grow their own food, everything. It's almost like you are not in Nigeria when you're in IITA. It's a group of people, albeit foreigners, that did that same thing. But guess what? We have Nigerians who can do the same thing. We just have not put it to test. That's the problem. That's the difference. We have not put it to test. If a group of people now decide that, okay, we want to move back home and do this, you now start to engage the people that have know somebody that knows somebody. Oh, you know this doctor. Oh, you know this engineer. Oh, you know this surveyor. Oh, you begin to engage the expertise of these people. Even if it's in your community that you can create a small community hospital where people can rush to, you are busy spreading yourselves and educate, because you are now become educators and historians for your people, because they don't know. People that don't know will not know what to do when the situation arises. So we now have to be the teachers and the ones reaching out and educating our people about how to live this life, about political awareness, about this is what it's a lot of work, but we have to start. So if people can break up in small group, start with your community. They say now charity begins from home. That's what my parents used to tell me. So charity will begin in your village, in your father's house. Like, okay, we are bringing this, me and my 5 friends, we are bringing here, we are doing this here, we are doing it. You go, they do, and they go like that. I'm telling you, it will spread. Before you know what's happening, your government will become irrelevant. You turn your government to nonsense. That's another way, another strategy one can use. But the question is, how many of us are willing to do that? I know people that have gone back. I just spoke to one yesterday.
All right. Thank you. Master, you want to say something? I'll just let. We have to end. I'm not bringing anybody in.
I mean, I'm just blown away by your guest. Honestly, I'm just blown away. Seriously, she's absolutely magnificent.
All right, thank you.
This is the kind of thinking that would take us to this revolution we talk about. This is the revolution. Honestly, we have so much. Nigeria has so much power outside. If that power will be turned in like a gun and start shooting into this country, you will see that every bad thing will go. would hope. But I'm just really I'm glad you brought this guest. Well done, madam. Well done.
All right. Thank you, Master.
And by the way, good night, everybody. I want to go, but let it not be that it's not my internet that is kicking me out. It's me that is saying good night. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Master. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's I will let CM say something, and then that will be it. CM, if you have a question or comment.
Master, yeah.
CM, he's
Master
gone.
go. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, Master has gone. Okay. Master, na gaiswa. Okay.
CM is 24 hours behind.
Good. Now we are 1 hour behind. The clock has gone backwards, so you should expect me to be behind. That's okay. It went back yesterday. Anyway, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Actually, I joined late, and to be honest with you, I never knew Omoye will be the guest today. I would have joined earlier, but be that as it may, Omoye, thank you for showing up. What question do I need to ask? Because I do not really know the topic you treated, so okay. I can only say thank you. I can only give a vote of thanks.
Yeah.
I can only give vote of thanks for showing up. I was expecting another lady. The advice was, I say, lady, so I don't know what Rudolf advertised, whether you are doing us mood. You show this and you show another, I don't know. So anyway, the thing is that thank you very much for coming on, Omoye. At least, maybe probably at a short notice, I don't know. So that's all I could say. I don't know what you treated. So no question.
All right.
Thank you
so much. Thank you, CM.
Hey, Rudolf, it's me, my turn. Now, why is that?
Who's turn? No, I'm not. I can't take. No, we can't do this. I've told you guys.
You can't do what?
I'm not allowed to go beyond 3 hours anymore. It's over.
I said I will become the victim of your 3 hours. Is it?
Yeah, it's not only you. I see concerns. There are other people who are here. But let me say something. For those who are just joining, our guest, Hawa Ibrahim, she had an emergency, so she couldn't come, and this was just a few minutes before we go live, and then we had to find a replacement, and we got a worthy one in Omoye's corner. So Omoye, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. But for those who want to continue the conversation, KJ is going to have an after show that we start immediately. So it's not like this.
Only 1 minute I need, Dr. Damages. Make I greet my sister. Why you they do like this now?
Omoye, you see what you are causing, when you come here, and all right, go ahead, Ike. 1 minute.
Good afternoon, sir. Let my abeg
go slow. Go slow.
Hey, sis, I bless you. God bless you. How
Thank
are you?
you very much, sir. Yes.
I see you stand gidigba. They wanted to push you one side, but I know who I'm following. I know who my sister is, and I'm grateful that you stand on your ground. God bless you. I'm happy to see you today. Okay, keep the good work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ike. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Now that I did that, I have to let give concerns 1 minute.
That's
So
okay.
Concerns.
My brother, good evening.
How are you?
Fine. When I see my sister, my beautiful sister, God bless you for coming in a short notice.
Sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
God is going to bless you, the one Nigerian people. Whenever I come in here, I see with this one Nigeria, do people know that the Abuja is also Sharia law in Abuja? Do people know that Abuja is a Sharia state? People know that Abuja is a Sharia state, the whole capital of a country.
No,
we are not Muslim country, but we are Abuja is Sharia state. This one Nigeria has made us to lose everything. Do you know that? The people today who are working in Abuja mostly are illiterate from one area. Do you know that? We can protest in Lagos, one Nigeria. We can have electricity, one Nigeria. How long for somebody who's born for 60 years? He doesn't have one shirt. He can't be able to buy one shirt. We cannot on one Nigeria. If any tribe, any region who cannot rule themselves, they are not qualified to be human beings. Let us start talking about how we can rule ourselves. Not this one. Who are the people who are rich in Nigeria? Farmers are not rich in Nigeria. Do you know that? Farmers are not rich in Nigeria. Who are the rich people? Criminals. The farmers, in other countries, farmers are supposed to be rich. They take experts are supposed to be rich, but in Nigeria, it's only politicians are rich. Those class. There's something also recently said Nigeria cannot be divided because they are enjoying the country. How many Edo people? How many people from the south are in government in working in Abuja? None. If maybe 1%. One Nigeria, no electricity. One Nigeria, no water. One Nigeria, no good hospitals. One Nigeria, nothing is working. One Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu is in jail today because one Nigeria. We can't divide the country because of one Nigeria. Few people are working, enjoying the country. Okay, my brother, thank you. Sorry. If I was not there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Constance, for that talk. Let me.
My brother, see, how can Abuja be a Sharia state? How can Abuja be a Sharia? A Christian did something with somebody. They take him to Abuja Sharia court. A Christian, he was crying this week in Sharia in Arise News. A Christian, you didn't hear it? Huh.
We played the video yesterday, and
I didn't see. Yes, I didn't see it.
You can join the conversation with KJ. You can bring it up, and that will be part of something to.
Yeah, as long as I see KJ here, as long as I see CM, when I see them, I'm covered. When I see Ike Alamefule, like today I see Omoye. That's why I came in. Dr. Chris also, Mr. James. When I see them, not like those ones of yesterday who said the one wearing cap. He says, but those ones are part of Bragadamba.
All right, thank you so much. We have to thank those that supported us. Thank you so much for your support, and we appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oscar. Thank you,
Oscar Blackburn, and next week we are going to
come to the Lions Den. Come to all our politics. Come to the Lions. Don't be scared. I don't bite.
All right, next week we are going to bring you another interesting guest. So until then, let's watch this as we go. Who is that?
How many if you don't drop Shenka? Baby bend down, it's a better. If your guy shigidi, I mean CBD. Oh yeah, moonlight baker. How many if you don't drop Shenka? Baby bend down, it's a better. If your guy shigidi, I mean CBD. Oh yeah, moonlight baker. How many if you don't drop Shenka? Baby bend down, it's a better. If your guy
we appreciate you, and thank you everybody who joined us. CM, thank you so much. Omoye, thank you. Chris, thank you. Constance, thank you. John, Abba, the fake one and the real one, thank you. I'll see you guys next week. Omoye, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Bye.
All right, see you guys.